there, fellow Star Wars nerds, and welcome to Unlimited Content, the podcast where two brothers talk about all of Star Wars film and TV in chronological order on the internet as an excuse to hang out more. We're your hosts, Sam and Jack, and this week we're talking about the Clone Wars, Season 1, Episodes 11 and 12, Dooku Captured and the Gungan General. Sam,
Jack,
it's you.
It's me.
You're here.
Hello, hi.
Unprecedented.
It is good to see you, my friend.
It's good to see
and
you
my
too.
brother. How are you?
I'm your friend and your brother?
That's true. You
I'm
are.
both?
Yes.
That's cool. I didn't know I could be both of those
you can.
things. And now
And
I've
you
learned
do it
it.
well.
And I feel good.
You should.
Cool. Well, you're just my brother and not my friend.
Dang it.
Or you're just my friend and not. Only one at a time at any given time.
Yeah.
So.
Well, speaking of just being one of those things and not being two of those things, we have we have a friend of mine who is not my brother. And all y'all know him. You guys have heard his voice before. Welcome to the podcast, Mr. Jason. Jason, how are you?
Sam, Count Dracula, how are you doing? Wait, I came up with a new one, and this one's appropriate. Yeah.
It's not Hoover Sam? I like that one.
Space Sam. You know?
Space Sam.
Space Jam.
Ah,
but also,
okay.
Also,
yeah.
also
come on and slam, and welcome to the Sam.
Come
there
on
we
and
go.
slam, and welcome
to the Sam. Also, Star Wars is in space, so that's...
Ooh.
So it's extra relevant.
Wow.
It's got layers.
Look at us. Look at us. Who'd have thought? Not me.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Or me.
Well, it's so cool having you on, Jason. We've had you on before, but never in...
Live.
Such an immediate capacity.
Indeed.
Yeah. So it's great to finally get to see you. And we've never met, so hello, Jason.
We have not, but
nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Jason, would you like to introduce yourself, tell the people who you are, and not more importantly, but just as importantly, what Star Wars means to you? How are you first introduced to Star Wars? What role does Star Wars play in your life? Would you consider yourself a casual fan, somebody who's never watched Star Wars before, somebody who's obsessed with Star Wars? Take it away.
Okay, so I'm Jason. Sam and I went to college together. I believe the first time we actually met was when we stole, I want to say, one of your instruments, Cecilia.
Yeah, you stole my guitar.
That was Alex's. That was Alex's doing.
I know.
Not me. Yeah.
I know.
Okay. So I am based in Cincinnati, where all things flow. Horrible for sports.
Oh, I didn't know where we were going with that. All things flow.
I'm
Good,
like,
bad? I don't know.
We're just
all drains
unlucky in
lead to the
sports.
ocean.
Yeah. And then in terms of Star Wars.
Yes.
Oh,
all roads lead to Rome, all drains lead to the ocean, and all sports
Bad
successes
stuff.
flow away from Cincinnati.
Yeah, there it is. Yes.
away from. I mean, don't get me started on Sam and I's discussion with Kansas City and Dallas.
Yeah.
I mean,
In Dallas, yeah. I have the double misfortune, at least from Jason's perspective, of being a Cowboys fan and a Chiefs fan. Having grown up in Dallas and being a lifetime Cowboys fan, and now having lived in Kansas City for like 6 years, almost all of which is the Patrick Mahomes era of the Chiefs. I have to cheer for the Chiefs. I would be exiled.
I don't blame you. Like, if it's like mid-2000s and we moved to New England, it's like, I'm going to get a Tom Brady jersey.
Yeah, it's like moving to New England at the beginning of the Tom Brady era. It's kind of what it feels like.
I hate myself looking from the outside, but from the inside, I see your perspective.
For sure.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's sports.
That's sports. Now
That is
that's
sports.
not what we're talking about though. Star Wars. I remember vacationing with my mom's side of the family, and my sister. I think she broke her nose. So my parents stayed back. I went with my cousins, and we got to the hotel, and I was doing something. I was probably playing my Game Boy. It's a fair assumption at that age. I was like 4, give or take. And I came downstairs, and it's the scene from Return of the Jedi with Luke and Vader at Palpatine's throne room. And so Return of the Jedi holds a good place in my heart. Like, that was my introduction to it. Obviously, then I'm like, I'm going to watch 4 and 5. And then, at that time, Phantom Menace is going to come out. Wow, that Jar Jar guy's the best character ever. And
because you were 6 when it came out? You're a year younger than me, right?
Yes, yeah.
Yeah, so you're about 6 when it came out.
Yeah. And then Attack of the Clones came out. And I'm like, wow, this is the best movie ever. I remember rewatching it a ton on a portable DVD player. And I'm just like, wow, this is so good. And I haven't rewatched it since maybe, I don't know, 08. Could be off.
It's been a while.
Yeah, but I rewatched it to go along with the podcast.
Ooh.
And I'm like, oh God, that
does it hold up or does it hold up? Come on, man.
No. The dialogue is
impeccable. It's the best. You're not allowed to say anything bad about it. It's the best.
This is a pro Attack of the Clones.
George Lucas is known for his impeccable dialogue writing. I don't know what you're talking about.
You know what? Touche. No,
Here on Unlimited Content, we welcome all opinions except the ones we disagree with.
That's, I mean,
yeah.
No. Sorry, Ice. Not Hoth.
Yeah, so you grew up on Star Wars. Like,
I
Star Wars
grew up on Star Wars.
Been part of your childhood from basically the beginning.
Yeah, and I did not watch Clone Wars or Rebels even until, I guess, late pandemic. Like, I'd say 2021, so only 2 years. Yeah. And I still haven't seen all of Clone Wars.
Really?
So one of my best friends, he sang at my wedding. I was texting him one night, and he's like, "Oh, like, what are you doing?" And I'm like, "Oh, I'm just watching Clone Wars." And we got into like talking about it, and he's like, "Whoa, wait, like, what episode are you at?" And I'm like, "I'm on like season 5, I think, like episode 14 or 15." And he's like, "Stop what you're doing, go back and watch these episodes once you're done, but you have to watch like the last 3 episodes. You'll thank me once you're done." And I'm like, "Okay, Bradley, you're a trustworthy guy." Like, and that is, foreshadow the Ahsoka arc leaving the Jedi.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Which episodes did he tell you to go back and watch?
It's the they were droid filler arc. I'd have to look them up.
Okay. So I'm curious which ones he thought were necessary for good prep for those episodes.
Yeah. But you finished the series though, right?
Oh yeah. Aside from like those episodes.
Yeah. I mean, like, yeah. When I watched through the Clone Wars for the first time, I only watched the essential arcs, like just for like the main plot points. I skipped all the filler episodes, so a lot of these filler episodes, quote unquote, I'm watching for the first time right now. And it's so much fun. Like the what was it? The Bombad Jedi. I'd never seen that before, and it was a blast.
It was fun.
Yeah, the Jar Jar.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. I'd never seen it before, and it was a blast. So, yeah, no shame. Welcome.
No, yeah.
Well, Jason, we are super glad to have you on. This is it's great. It's great, man.
Yeah.
I'm so glad to be on. Thank you guys so much.
Yeah.
Of course.
Jack Ford.
Yes.
How are you? What have you been up to? You been reading anything, watching anything, doing anything fun?
Well, no.
Lame.
But also, let's see.
Have you been simulating power washers? Have you?
I have, yes.
Okay.
But before we get further into anything, we have a sponsor.
We have bills to pay. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry, sponsor.
Yeah, Sam.
How dare I?
You're skipping over our very... We're gonna go broke, Sam.
We are. That's my bad. I'm going off the cuff. I don't have the script in front of me. I'm winging it here, man. I'm winging it.
They're gonna evict us from the virtual apartment we both live in for the sake of the podcast.
In the metaverse or something?
They're gonna evict us from Mark Zuckerberg's metaverse. Yeah.
No, that's very important to my life. The metaverse.
The thing that's such a good idea and works and everybody loves it. This week's episode of Unlimited Content is brought to you by The Cool Side of the Pillow.
Big fan of that.
One of those simple joys in life.
Love that. I had, speaking of The Cool Side of the Pillow, I had some friends in high school. I was wondering if you were going to bring this up. Yeah. They recorded a jazz album that they called The Cool Side of the Pillow. It was awesome. It was great.
I do remember that.
It was a great album. I don't know if I have it. I might somewhere. Probably at mom and dad's house.
It's very rare and important. It's a seminal album in the history of jazz.
Yeah, in that it was a bunch of high schoolers in a high school jazz program.
I'm sure it was great.
Yeah, it was great live. I don't know about. Yeah. I don't remember listening to it, but yeah.
I'm sure in theory it was great.
Yeah. Yep.
Anyway, all right. Well, I guess we'll move on now to the actual what we've been up to and whatnot.
The content of Unlimited Content.
Yes, the content and whatnot. So as for what I've been up to, this is another one of those weeks where I've kind of just been doing the same thing. Still catching up on Critical Role, still playing Power Wash Simulator. I power washed a Ferris wheel.
Yeah, you did.
That was
it
was fun. It was cool. It was difficult though because there's so many like nooks and crannies, and it's also very tall, so I had to move my scaffolding around a lot in order to get to all the different places.
Now, sorry, Jack. I just want to say,
yes,
if you just did a podcast about the power washing, I'd listen just as much.
Excellent.
I was listening to the one with your guys' cousin.
With Andy?
Yeah, with Andy. And I'm just like you brought up the power washing, and I'm like, oh yes, I love that. I love that part of this episode.
Yes, Jack's talking about video games where you power wash things
again. Power washing? Oh.
It doesn't get better. It does not get better.
Yeah.
No.
Well, I'm glad to hear that. Yeah. That you enjoy it. So Power Wash Simulator, Critical Role, I'm still catching up on. I'm getting closer to being caught up. I'm on an episode right now where, like, basically in the current campaign, several episodes ago, there was a big event, and then the party got separated. And so for one chunk of time, there were a few episodes that were just one half of the party, and then there were another set of episodes that were just the other half. And I've just gotten to the episode where they reunite, and it's very exciting and heartwarming. But it's also like, along the way, they also met other characters that were like guest players who came on the show, and now they're all in one place, and so there's like 10 players at once in this episode.
Oh wow,
it's very crowded. But it's also fun. Yeah,
that sounds awesome. What's the is there like a theme to this like latest like round or playthrough of D&D that they're doing? Like what's the if you could summarize it without doing spoilers, what's the gist?
I would say so. This takes place in the same like fantasy world of Exandria is the name of it, where the first two campaigns also took place. It's a little bit in the future from the previous campaigns, and it is about, as most D&D campaigns are, a motley crew of adventurers going and doing things. But they're trying to solve this mystery that has to do with the moon. There are two moons in Exandria, and one of them is the red moon, Ruidus. And they are there's some things having to do with people who were born under the light of the red moon have powers, and now there are like things happening, and there's mystery, and the fate of the world may be involved. So Anyway, it's been a very good campaign. I've enjoyed it a lot. Campaign 1 was great, but it was very like kind of classic D&D. A very classic D&D adventuring party. They're heroes going on adventures and saving the world. Campaign 2 was much more like a bunch of misfits and weirdos, and it was kind of a darker, sadder story, but it's still very good. And then this one, I feel like is kind of in between. I like a lot of the characters in this particular campaign. It's a really solid campaign so far, and I really enjoy it. Catching up on that and still enjoying it very much. And then I guess the other thing, which is not new, but it's I've been keeping up with My Adventures with Superman.
I've heard about that. Tell me about that a little bit.
Yeah, we briefly talked about it. I think
okay, that's where I heard about it.
Yes.
Oops.
Yeah. Jason, I don't think you've heard about it because it's on an episode that hasn't come out yet.
Unless you've heard about it outside of the podcast.
True. Unless you've heard about it from reality. Yeah. But yeah, no, this is a show on, I think it's on Adult Swim, but it's not like an adult show. It's like, I would say it's like kid appropriate. But basically, imagine like the early years of Clark Kent, Lois Lane, and Jimmy Olsen being like reporters at the Daily Planet. They're interns.
Okay.
But imagine that, but told through the lens of like, what if that was a romantic comedy anime? Basically, it's very good. It's super cute and a lot of fun, and like from the get go, there's a focus on like Clark and Lois having a crush on each other, and this sort of like them being cute and the will they won't they sort of thing. Yeah, I've really been enjoying it. And the other thing that now that I've gotten a little bit further into the season that I am surprised about is they're putting a pretty big emphasis on like mystery and sci-fi elements in the show, which is pretty cool. It's not your sort of typical Superman, like it's a sort of a different take, a different spin on the Superman aesthetic and mythos, where it's like it's very sci-fi focused and very kind of, there's a lot of lore that they kind of discover over time, and it's a lot of the stories about Clark discovering kind of his origins as a Kryptonian, kind of learning about himself and learning about his powers, and they also really they play into the fact that Lois is an investigative reporter, and so there's like actual mystery there, and she kind of gets, she's just as much of a main character as Clark is, and they are going on, they're investigating things, and there's government conspiracies, and the most recent episode felt very kind of like almost Stranger Things-y, and that there's like hidden scientific government research facilities, and they're going through the woods, and there's mystery, and it's super cool. I'm really enjoying that, and I definitely recommend it. I've been watching it on HBO Max, Max. Because whatever. Thank you, David Zaslav.
Your brothers, your brothers on platform.
I heard that it is Max's platform. But Max, sorry to burst your bubble, but the reason I heard that they changed it from HBO Max to Max is that they don't have to pay the HBO tax on things. Like, because it doesn't have the prestige name of HBO, they don't have to pay prestige prices anymore.
Yeah, that's I would not be surprised if that's the case. That sounds about right. I also heard, I think I read that it was David Zaslav's idea specifically. Like, he was like, we should just call it Max, and everybody's like, that's stupid, but okay. Yeah, you're in charge, I guess.
But you're the billionaire who doesn't know how things work, so we'll listen to you.
Yeah, I feel like, maybe I'm completely talking out of my ass here. I don't remember. I feel like I remember.
Jack, that's this whole podcast. That's what all you and I do.
That's true. That's this whole podcast.
And
why stop now?
The best part is unlimited.
Hey,
unlimited talking out of my ass.
Hey.
Yeah. I feel like I heard that they lost a ton of subscribers on the switchover.
Yeah,
because people were like, "Oh, I guess I don't need this anymore." Like when they were asked to re-up for it, or
it was like,
whatever.
It was like almost 2 million subscribers.
Yeah, something nuts like that. I was like, cool, good job. I'm glad this rebranding campaign is going well for you. Also, people are angry about apparently they made an entirely new app for for all the devices, and it's like there's no longer an HBO Max. There's an HBO Max app that you can't use anymore, and now there's also a Max app, which is a different app. So they made a new app instead of just changing the names and the logos in the old app.
Objectively silly.
Okay, yeah. Maybe there's a weird corporate law reason why they did it that way or whatever. You know what? There's a 50-50 chance it has something to do with tax evasion, but
100%. Yeah, no, all my money's in that. All my money's in that basket. All the no money that I have because I'm poor. But
what are you talking about? We have unlimited money from our unlimited sponsors.
Unlimited credits that will do fine, but those aren't dollars, Jack.
Yeah.
Apparently, credits will not do fine when it comes to the United States government.
No, they do fine here, but when it comes to like Bank of America, they're like, no, credits will not do fine.
Lame.
I know.
All right. Yeah, those are kind of the things I've been up to. Nothing really new at the moment, but enjoying the things that I'm still doing. Jason, do you want to talk a little bit about what you've been up to? Any interesting events going on in your life? Any media that you've been consuming that you want to talk about?
Yeah. So I'll go the way you guys have it. Books. I found a book at my library. It is called Console Wars, and it kind of explains the Sega / Nintendo battle going on. Cool. Or like the early 90s. And it starts off with like a story of this high up from Mattel, who, I mean, Barbie is still blockbuster right now. And like at first it was like the CEO brought him in and was like, oh no, we're doing so bad. And he's like, no, we're not. Like, all we have to do is, revamp it, give like Barbie some friends, give her like, this car, this limited edition like clothing and all this stuff. And it went from bringing in $50 million a year to $430 million the next year. Yeah, yes, money, indeed. So that's one book. I also
that's cool. So actually, I have not read Console Wars, but I have it on my shelf in the other room. I got it at Half Price Books, I think, and it's been on my list of things to read. So I'm a little bit familiar with the kind of the history of that era of like the Sega versus Nintendo thing, and when you were talking about like the story of the kind of how they changed things up, like my understanding is that it was during the kind of Sega versus Nintendo console war that the idea of video games being for boys became a thing, because the idea was that like, before like for a long time video games were advertised as either being like computer things or as being toys, basically. And they were not gendered. They were just like, things that anybody could enjoy, because of course they are. But then in order to like basically increase sales of things, they decided to double down on like video games are a boys thing and you're cool if you play video games. And so all the advertisements for video games from the 90s are like all hyper masculine and and so that contributed to kind of the on the one hand it kind of saved the video games industry, but on the other hand it contributed to this unfortunate stereotype and being, and a lot of people being excluded from this community like to this day. So
that probably also explains like why a lot of video games, like especially early on, like where it's nowadays like the pendulum's swinging back and it's kind of like becoming a more open and broad and accepting kind of like thing.
Thankfully,
yes. But like I feel like a lot of like early video games are all like shoot 'em ups or sports or Save the Princess and Dragons. Like very like stereotypical like boy things, like those are
lots of action. Yeah,
I mean, Nintendo's, two best series. I was about to say same thing, but I mean, it's Mario where he defeats Bowser, saves Princess Peach, and then you have Zelda. Zelda. Yeah. Where you play as Link and you go and defeat Ganon and
save the princess. Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
And
then the third most popular one is just dog fighting, but with more different kinds of dogs.
Star Fox?
No, it's no Pokemon.
Pokemon, yeah.
Oh,
Well,
when you said dog fighting, I thought you meant like airplane dog fighting.
No,
Yeah, but I was thinking Pokemon.
I mean, but that's like you have
fighting
a
rings.
cat.
Yes,
You get a cat and then a dog fighting a lion who fights a hippo who fights a tiger who's fighting.
Is there a hippo Pokemon?
whale?
There's got to be, right?
There is.
I feel like Slowpoke is kind of hippo-ish.
You have
I can see that.
Hippowdon, Generation 4.
I will take your word for it.
I'm not, and I don't really remember 3. Yeah, but the last one I really remember is Crystal and Gold and Silver. Was the last ones I really played. I played Ruby and Sapphire a little bit, but like mostly like blue, yellow, red, and then Gold, Silver, Crystal.
Yeah. Gen 2 is my favorite. That's what I grew up on.
It's a good one.
I feel like for me, I was like a little bit later, so I think Gen 3 was Ruby and Sapphire and Emerald was like the that I was most into, definitely, that I played the most. Oh, but also like the first game console that I owned that was just for me was like the Game Boy Advance, and so I spent a lot of time with that.
That's right. You didn't have a color, did you?
No, we shared the color. I mean, it was yours, and I played it sometimes, basically.
Well, it was mine, and Mom made me share it sometimes, but it was mine. I was like, it's basically Mom and Dad were like, you've been playing it too much. Jack can play it now. I'm like, no, like, Jack can play it now. I'm like, okay, fine.
Take that, Sam.
It was definitely mine.
And now as an adult, I have excessive amounts of video games. And I'm making up for lost time.
And I have a Switch with like 3 games. That's what I got.
But one of those games is Breath of the Wild, and another one of those games is Tears of the Kingdom. So you've got unlimited content there. Also,
there it is.
You really do.
And then the third one is Lego Star Wars, like the Skywalker Saga.
Whoa.
So
excellent.
Surprise.
I have that one at 2, and that is very close to unlimited content.
It's good. It's good.
Not as much as Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, but.
Yeah, Tears of the Kingdom is unlimited content in that, A, it's a gigantic game with a gigantic amount of content, but also the systems in it let you be super creative and essentially make your own fun. Oh, yeah. So it is like actually unlimited, essentially. Yeah.
Jack, do you have Lego Star Wars?
Yes, okay. I have the Skywalker Saga. I've played through the prequels, and I'm in the middle of the years. I'm in Empire Strikes Back right now, so I'm playing through them in order.
That's what I'm hoping to do, but I am currently stuck in Attack of the Clones, and by stuck I mean I'm just dawdling around. Yeah,
Geonosis is huge in this game.
I'm right on Geonosis.
It's I think it's the biggest, other than Tatooine. I think it's the biggest map in the game.
Yeah,
and Coruscant maybe.
What am I thinking? Coruscanti.
Sounds like a delicious Italian dessert.
It probably,
does.
What was I saying? No, I stopped because I'm like, oh, Tears of the Kingdom is going to come out in like 2 months. Let me play this next month of Breath of the Wild just to get hyped for it.
Oh yeah.
And then that came out in May, and I have been a fiend at not playing anything else but Tears of the Kingdom.
Understandable.
Yeah. I mean, big news, Sam. I haven't told you until now. But I've told you that I've had that problem with Phantom Ganon in the Korok tree.
Yes. Yep.
Yes. Yeah. Yesterday I was in the depths, and I'm looking around all these ice weapons to take out the hands. Like, screw it, I'll go for it.
Yeah.
And I took his butt down.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did. Nice.
Yeah.
That was my win. And then because I did that last night, I'm like, oh yes, can't wait to hop on and tell Sam, and I'll tell Jack too.
Heck yeah.
And
Proud of you.
Okay.
You can do
now
it.
I'm in the Fire Temple.
Ah,
Fire Temple's a cool one.
it is really cool.
I'm a huge fan of the Fire Temple just with the mines and the carts.
Yeah, it was a cool. Yeah, I think all the dungeons have cool ideas
Yeah.
this time around. But yeah,
The Fire Temple definitely had the coolest mechanics out of any of the temples, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
other than the Spirit. Have you done the Spirit Temple yet?
Yeah. Oh no, because I did the exact same thing as you did. Where I
But
just
you discovered it on
I
it, like
unintentionally found it.
yeah.
Love
I
that.
was wandering through, and I'm like, oh, I need to get to somewhere because I'm gliding, and I land, and there's a storm, and I'm just going through, and I pick up a head, and I'm like, I don't know what that is, but I'll go for it, and then it leads me on to the depths, and I'm like, what the heck is this? Like, and
Yeah.
once it was literally as I'm like forming all the parts of the body, I'm like, this is gonna be a dope mech for Link. So
Yeah. You like build like a Mighty Morphin Power Ranger kind of.
that's
mech.
that's exactly
Exactly.
that's exactly what I was thinking.
Yeah. What did they call it? It was like a Megazord or something. Is that what it was called?
Megazord.
Spirit Megazord.
That's really what it was. Yeah.
Spirit Megazord is the name of my new band.
And
Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yes. Was that, I love. Yeah, I mean that works if it's a Megazord. You attach like the wings and then a cannon and a laser to it, or if you want to go on the outside, get like a spike ball.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Dude, it's good. It's good. Yeah, I've been playing through Tears of the Kingdom some more because I mentioned previously that I broke one of my Joy-Cons on my Switch and was unable to play for a while, and I finally like buckled down and bought a new controller to play. So I've been like actually like getting into playing it again, and I've had some more free time, so I've been able to play some more. And I'm like, I haven't gone to the final boss yet, but I've just been trying. I think I'm just gonna like max out my heart containers before I go down to the boss. This is kind of what I'm doing right now. I'm just like, I'm gonna do literally everything I can do up here, get all of the shrines, do as many quests as I can, and they're like, okay, now I'll go. It'll be fine.
That's yeah.
Yeah, I'm just trying to milk it. That's what I'm trying to do. So I've got like over 100 of the shrines down already, like 105 or something. Yeah, so got a little ways to go, but just casually playing 50. Through. Less than 50 to go. That's true.
Yeah.
Yep. Well, yeah, no, that's all I've been doing really. Has been playing a little bit of playing through Tears of the Kingdom. And that's kind of it, I think. Yeah. Not that I'm boring, so that's me.
You're lovely.
Thanks, Jack.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Sam, I know you mentioned a while back you had Apple TV Plus. Do you still have it?
I do.
Okay. Next recommendation, the Afterparty.
The Afterparty? What's that about?
Afterparty. It's so it's on season 2, and it's the similar plot to the first one, but Dave Franco gets murdered.
Oh.
And they go through like several characters explaining their side of what happened.
Is it like actual Dave Franco was murdered, or a character played by Dave Franco was murdered?
Character played by Dave Franco. I didn't
know if it was one of those like fourth wall breaking, like was that movie This Is the End? Or, yeah. Anyway.
No, it's a very good show.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
I'll look it up.
I will recommend it. Did you finish Ted Lasso? Was that?
I've not.
No.
Me and Sarah are like, we're putting off. Like, she doesn't want to end, and so she's like, I'm just not gonna watch the last season. Like,
I get that.
We need to watch
I
last
get
season.
that.
We need to watch last season. But yeah, so I want to watch it, but we're just kind of like, right now we're watching What We Do in the Shadows a lot because that just came back. So we're watching that. It's a lot of fun. And then we'll probably like, once this season of Outlander like is all aired, we'll watch all of that, and then we'll probably go to Ted Lasso, would be my guess. So then also Ahsoka comes out in like 2 weeks. So,
oh my gosh, yeah.
By the time this podcast releases, it's probably Ahsoka's gonna be out. So,
it'll be like episode 4 or 5, maybe 3.
Yeah, at least 3.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. We got some new character posters today for Ahsoka. There was a Sabine, Hera, the 2 not Jedi, not Siths, and the lady from like the Ahsoka arc from Mandalorian, the one where she got the Beskar spear from and like had that like big old fight, and she goes, "Where is Thrawn?" Like, so that that lady got a.
She's back.
She's back. Yeah, she's been in some of the trailers.
Yeah,
but she got a character poster.
That's cool.
My guess is she'll be kind of like the second tier big bad to Thrawn, and then the 2 like Force wielders will kind of like be like a third party outside force hunting down Ahsoka while she's trying to hunt down Thrawn. That's my guess.
I believe it.
Yeah.
I was checking the cast today, and Hayden Christensen is on there.
Yeah.
Is he actually? Like,
yeah, he's on there
100%.
and he's been mentioned on the like descriptions on like officially licensed merch on Amazon.
Yeah.
The Amazon descriptions.
Yeah.
So Hayden Christensen is like come like see like it's like Ahsoka and Sabine and Thrawn and Anakin Skywalker is like name dropped in like one of, like in like the product lineup. So
oh my god! If I see live action,
you get a second glance, like,
I think
whoa.
if either we're getting Force Ghost Anakin, like, because this is post Return of the Jedi, we're getting Force Ghost Anakin, or we're getting Clone Wars flashbacks. Live action.
If we get Clone Wars flashbacks, I'm gonna cry.
Clone Wars flashbacks, I'm gonna poop my pants. It's
I'll be right next to you doing that, buddy.
Yeah, dude. It's
I hope they like if they do that, if they do a flashback, I hope what they do is they get like a different like younger actor to play younger Ahsoka, and then Gash the X-Time to like dub over it. That'd be cool.
Ooh, that would be so good.
What if that's how they bring in Ashley Eckstein?
Yeah, because she
like actually just like make her the
make her
like,
young.
action. That could work. Sure.
Yeah.
I mean,
she's shorter, so she could look younger in that way, I guess.
Yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah.
I'd watch that for sure.
I still love one of my favorite parts of the Obi-Wan show was just seeing the flashback to the prequels with Obi-Wan and Anakin in their prequel garb and hanging out in the Jedi Temple.
Yeah, and I love those scenes. But what kind of took me out of it a little bit, and it's not like they couldn't have done anything about it without like doing like de-aging, which always looks bad. Was like Obi-Wan looked like age appropriate for those scenes.
Yeah.
Hayden Christensen looked like he was in his late 30s. Yeah.
It made me think like Billy Madison. Like
it did give Billy Madison.
I mean,
back to school. Back to school.
To prove to them that I'm not a fool.
Yep. Yeah, it did kind of give that a little bit.
I mean, I feel like, it
was a blast. That's our first ever. That was our first ever, like, we don't have any, like live action or animated canon viewing of Anakin's training.
Yeah.
The Clone Wars picks up as Anakin is, like, done with his training.
Yes.
Like, in Attack of the Jedi, he's, like, done with his training. So, like, that scene might have been, like, pre Attack of the Clones,
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
Wild.
He still, like, It was him in his like Attack of the Clones outfit. He had his rat tail.
Yeah. So it's probably like it's probably immediately pre Attack of the Clones, or like in like the year or two before that.
Yeah.
So,
or it could be like immediately after Attack of the Clones, something like that. But
yeah, no.
Although I feel like if they're just like training in the Jedi Temple, it's probably I feel like they would be busy once the war starts.
Yeah. So that's why I think it's pre Attack of the Clones.
Yeah, that makes sense.
But yeah.
Yeah.
Oh man,
right. I think that's all the Star Wars news we have this week. I don't know of any, at least.
That's all I got. Jason, have you heard anything else?
Ahsoka hype still.
Nothing that I've seen.
Yeah. Oh, I did. This is probably just a rumor, but I did hear that they're thinking about turning the next season of I think The Mandalorian into a movie that'll come out. It'll be like basically a prequel to the Dave Filoni movie. So I guess Dave Filoni's just getting, instead of having like a season of like season 4 of The Mandalorian, and then the movie, he's just gonna have a Mandalorian movie, and then like the Star Wars Avengers movie.
Yeah, that'd be so cool.
Yeah, so
I'm so excited for the Filoni-verse, the Mandoverse Avengers.
Yeah. Yep. So that's the only other.
It is still surreal to me that we are like seeing all these characters from animated series come into live action into like the big, not like big budget, and also like the current most popular Star Wars things are like, you know, featuring Ahsoka and characters from Rebels and stuff. It's like
the current most popular things in Star Wars started off on Cartoon Network and Disney XD. Like,
which like it feels sort of like vindicating to be like, you guys didn't care because it was a cartoon, but we know it was awesome, and now you get to see why.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh yeah. Yeah. So it feels good, man. Feels good. Yeah.
All right. If we're done with that part of that segment and whatnot, Sam, I think you had an idea for a discussion.
I did. I wasn't sure if we were going to do this before or after, but we can do it before. Let's do it. So, I have a question for you guys that I want to discuss. So, speaking of Star Wars and Marvel and Avengers and things, the Marvel show What If, right? It kind of like answer questions. What if like this happened and like the events of the Avengers or the events of like some character were changed? What would be different in like the those lives of those characters and like the overall Marvel Cinematic Universe? Like how would that look, right? So I was thinking, what is your like dream what if Star Wars story? If you could think of a story that like, what if this was different? How would Star Wars be different?
So I guess I'll go first because I've thought about this a little bit. So there are two things that come to mind immediately. The first one I think is the kind of the most obvious one, and also the one that has had the most kind of like people have like come up with their own things already a lot for it, and that is, what if the sequel trilogy was different? Basically, you know, like, you know, obviously there's there's other versions of scripts that were, you know, the sequel trilogy was originally going to be one thing, and then they rewrote the script into something else, and we know about what those stories were. And then of course there are all sorts of like plenty like fan like, this should have happened, or wouldn't it be cool if the sequel trilogy was about this, or you know. But like, so what is your what if sequel trilogy? Like, not just like say it's different, but like what? No, yeah. It's a good question. I don't know. I feel like, I mean, I'm sure we'll get more into discussion of the sequel trilogy in 8 years or whatever, whenever we get to the sequels. But
yeah, when my daughter's in college or something. Yeah.
Yeah. But like, I think for one thing, I think that the so I'm not gonna like be like, here's an entirely different premise. I'm gonna assume that like we kind of stuck with the same like cast of characters and everything. I think it would have been cool to get like more stories about Finn and his like I think what a lot of people felt like what was going to happen after The Force Awakens was like like a stormtrooper rebellion, like uprising or something, like, you know, a bunch of people defect. Like, I think that would have been cool.
Yeah. Like a a galactic civil war, but like from within. Right?
Yeah, something like that.
Okay.
Or like a or like Finn getting to use a lightsaber, as was kind of teased in posters and stuff.
Yeah.
And then
make Finn a Jedi. Why isn't Finn a Jedi?
Nothing wrong with Rey.
Oh, no. Yeah, we expected
Rey's
that.
great.
We expected Finn to be a Jedi, but we expected Rey to be a Jedi, but we also like expected Finn to be a Jedi, and he wasn't. So
yeah,
lame.
So that would have been cool. And then I think the whole thing with Luke, I think that was, I think the most frequent problem that people had with the sequel trilogy was probably how they decided to treat Luke and kind of show him as like a sort of defeated man of like he made this decision to almost kill Ben Solo, and then out of shame ran away, and you know, which I think for a lot of people felt very out of character for him. And so I would be interested to kind of see a different sort of premise for that. Like even if they stuck with the like he's off on his own, he's in a mysterious place that we don't know, and we need a map to go find him. Like, I think from there we could have gone to, instead of like he's in self-imposed exile, we could have gone to like he's on like in a super important secret mission that only he knows about, right. And it has something to do with like the fate, like with the Force, or like the fate of the Sith and the Jedi and something like that.
Or he's like out in the unknown regions and there's like Jedi among the Chiss or something like.
Yeah.
Like,
speaking of a sequel trilogy, like
Thrawn would have been bigger, you know.
Yeah. I mean, like before the new trilogy came out, for a really long time, the original Thrawn trilogy of books was most people's like a lot of people considered that to be like the Star Wars sequel trilogy already, you know. Those books were super beloved, and I think people saw them as like for a long time that was the thing that we had that was closest to a sequel trilogy. And I think a lot of people wanted that to be what the sequels ended up being, which I personally like. I mean, I wouldn't have minded it in kind of in theory, but I think in practice I prefer it to be like a new story, because I think that's part of the excitement of getting new Star Wars movies, getting sequels, being like, oh, what happens? What's the new thing? You know?
Because wasn't it like, I think it was George Lucas's version of the sequel trilogy, like before he sold Star Wars to Disney and like relinquished like his creative rights to that sort of thing. Mm-hmm. Was Darth Maul came back and kind of filled the void that the Emperor left.
Ooh, really?
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be sweet.
And Darth Maul had like a female Sith apprentice, and like
interesting.
It was like
old man Darth Maul.
It was it was kind of, because Darth Maul, like during the original trilogy, like was a crime lord, and that's kind of like where we get what he was doing in like Rebels and in Solo. Like that was in like George Lucas's original vision for Maul, for the sequel trilogy.
And yet he cut him in half. So was the whole like him coming back with spider legs thing? Was that his plans all along?
I genuinely think it was. I genuinely think that was part of George Lucas's plan. I could be wrong, but that's just I'm going off vibes here. Like,
yeah, I get that vibe.
Yeah,
sure, I'll take that vibe.
Because Dave Filoni like learned all he knows about Star Wars from George himself. So like, to bring back Darth Maul, other than just being like really cool and also like a toy cash grab, like which I mean that's what Star Wars is. Let's be honest. Star Wars is a toy cash grab. That's why it's
a vehicle for selling toys.
It is. It is. That's
almost as much as It's like
that's why George Lucas was the first like movie maker to become a billionaire. Is because like that was like part of his plan all along, was like to like design cool ships to be toys and design cool action figures to be toys.
Exactly.
Actually, I think he was like the first. I think one of the things that he like asked for when he first like made the first Star Wars was like in his contract, he was like, I want the toy and merchandising rights. And at the time the studio was like, oh yeah, sure, whatever, you can take that, because like merchandise for movies was not a big thing at the time. And then Star Wars happened and it became a huge thing. And
and that's why you have like all of these like super collector stuff and like Black Series whatever and like all that stuff. It's just because George Lucas is like, hey, I can see this making some money, it's mine now. And now it's like, oh, it makes too much money.
Now it's not.
Yeah, it's like one step below like Transformers in terms of being a vehicle for selling toys. It's like it's a little more story focused than that.
Yeah,
but like,
let's make a cool toy and build stories around it. Whereas Star Wars is like, let's make cool toys. Let's make cool stories that like could very easily be cool toys.
Yeah.
The best is when you had Star Wars Transformers.
Oh God, I remember that.
Was it really?
Briefly. I don't think I had one, but I remember seeing them and being like, oh, that's super cool. Because there was a period of time when I was a kid when, I mean, I've always been into Star Wars, but there was also a period where I was super into Transformers.
But
and I remember seeing one time, man, I love Transformers, man. It's so cool.
It is.
Yeah.
You know, except for like the Michael Bay movies. Like the first one was fine.
The first one was awesome. And then after that, I was like, I don't know why we're still doing this.
Yeah. You know what's good is Bumblebee. Bumblebee's a really underrated movie.
I never saw it.
Yeah, it's kind of a soft reboot almost of that series, but it's really well done. It's like a solid quality movie, and also the first like 10 minutes of that movie are the best Transformers movie because it is basically the same level of budget and detail and kind of fidelity that you get in all the other Transformers movies, but it's a sequence that takes place on Cybertron with all the original like Generation 1 designs of the characters. Whoa. And it looks fantastic. It's so good.
That's so fun.
Yeah. And then Transformers Rise of the Beasts came out recently. It didn't get great reviews, but I still want to watch it because it looks really good to me. And they really like went back to much more like Generation 1 looking designs for it.
Yeah, because it wasn't Rise of it was basically just Beast Wars, but like a live action Beast Wars, right?
Yeah.
Because I remember Beast Wars was my introduction to Transformers. Because that Beast Wars, I like kind of started watching like Saturday morning cartoons like that around the time that like Beast Wars is kind of wrapping up, and so like I remember like fondly watching Beast Wars. So
I think the first Transformers I watched was Transformers Cybertron is what it was called, and it was like the CG animated series.
I think that's what I was too.
I don't even know if I remember that. I probably would if I saw it, but like it doesn't. It's not ringing a bell right now.
Yes, but man, Optimus Prime, one of the coolest characters ever. I don't care that he's a toy that turns into a truck. That makes him cooler.
That does make him cooler.
And Peter Cullen's voice is iconic and incredible. I want to have
a cool voice and turn into a truck. Like, let's be honest.
Yeah, don't we all?
Yeah. That'd be sweet.
It's the dream.
And not only like just any truck, but it's like a big old Peterbilt truck that's like got flames on it. Like that's like that's the coolest thing ever.
I mean, in the Michael Bay version, he's a Peterbilt with flames, but in the original, he's like a more like a square cab looking thing.
Yeah, but still, it's awesome.
It's still cool.
I prefer the original design, is what I'm saying. Like, but to each their own. I mean, I still, well, actually, I don't think I have it anymore, but I used to have a Transformer like toy of the Michael Bay version of, and I remember
that.
Yeah,
I think it looks
super cool.
I think it's still on your bookshelf in what was your room, but is now the guest room at Mom and Dad's house, because that's where Sarah and I stay whenever we're at Mom and Dad's house, and I saw it like 3 weeks ago, I think.
Oh,
I wasn't looking super closely, but like in my brain, that's where your Transformers live. So
yeah, I want to get. Honestly, I've been wanting to like get find out whatever like the nicest Optimus Prime figure is, and just get that and have it like for like to have on my shelf. Brief to extend our tangent on Transformers just a little bit. I always thought that like the coolest toys to me growing up, like I wasn't into most like action figures and things like that because they were just kind of boring to me. But like the things that I loved the most were Legos and Transformers. I feel like Transformers were cool because it's like 3 toys in one. It's an action figure, a vehicle, and also a puzzle.
Yes,
you know. It's like 3 things in one, and I loved the fact that it had like so much to it, and you could do so many different things with it, and they looked cool, and there was a cool story with it, with lore, and an awesome animated series, and yeah, that was super cool. And now they actually have an official Lego set of Optimus Prime that actually transforms that you can get.
Yeah, it's
super expensive,
outrageous.
But I want it.
It is outrageous, but still really cool.
Is it like on par with like the Star Destroyer Lego set? And like the Death Star Lego set, like those like $500-$600 Lego things.
It's up. I don't know if it's quite that expensive, but it's at least it's over $100 definitely. Which I mean, is not saying much for Legos.
Not anymore.
Legos get expensive very fast.
Yeah, that's
the
thing.
Yeah, like your good starter Lego set starts at $50, which is
Target has that at $175.
okay. Not like
I mean, it's
terrible, but still like, ooh,
no.
I'm not gonna. It's not like it's not an impulse buy.
Exactly.
No,
Yeah.
no, it's like you gotta buckle down and
Yeah, that's
I'm
we're
like,
not eating
hey.
out this month. I want this.
Yeah, this is a need, not a want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I mean, that's exactly what I'm like with that Star Wars set, where they actually have the Return of the Jedi throne room.
Ooh,
And yeah, because my birthday was a few weeks ago, and
Happy birthday.
thank you, Jack. I bought.
What?
The Hulk
Is it a Lego
Buster.
Hulkbuster?
It's Lego Hulkbuster,
armor?
and I'm like,
Oh, that's awesome.
I had to buy it, and I'm like, oh, it's only $50. Like, that's nothing for Lego.
For Lego, yeah, that's
That's not
good.
bad. Yeah.
And then I was just
my Lego little impulse buys. I get those helmets with the. I have one.
yeah.
Because I have Boba Fett's, but I want to get Mando's, but I mostly want to get Darth Vader. And they have Rex and Cody now. I want to get those.
I want to get Rex. I want the Rex one.
Yeah.
I really want that one.
Yeah. Sorry, I interrupted you. I just got very excited. I do that
No,
sometimes. I apologize.
No. Else, train of thought. No, I was just perusing the aisle, and I saw they had the throne room, and I'm like, oh snap! Sam, I might have texted you like the next day, and I'm like,
I think you did. Yeah.
because I'm like, this is something I definitely want, and I want it, but I want it as like a Christmas gift.
Yep. I get that.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it would make a good Christmas gift. I know, because I don't know. I can't remember, because the two people who buy Legos for me are Jack and Sarah. And they're always Star Wars Legos. And I can't. Jack, did you get this one? It was the. I think it was Sarah, but it might have been you. It's the throne room scene from Mandalore with Ahsoka versus Maul.
Oh,
Did you get that for me? Or
I don't remember, honestly.
I think
it might have been me. It might have been. It might have been Sarah.
Yes, Jason has it.
Oh, yeah. Jason has it on camera right now. That's amazing.
That's what I bought.
Mine's at my office at work. That's where it lives. It's on my bookshelf at work.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah, that's where all of my.
Which
that's where Sarah has banished all of my Star Wars Legos to work. It's like, we don't have room for these in the house, and Marion's gonna find them, or the cat's gonna knock them down. So just leave them in your office. I'm like, all right, cool, that's fine.
Yeah.
Rad. That's cool.
Yeah,
that was my birthday gift to myself last year.
Nice.
So
that's cool. Other than the I want the Rex helmet, because I think those helmets look super cool, and they're like a cool like nice. They're a decent size. They're not too big or too small, and they are relatively cheap. And they look super cool, and I want the Rex one. But the other Lego thing that I want really bad, at least in terms of Star Wars Legos, is they are bringing back the Ghost as a Lego set for Ahsoka, because they had it, they had a Ghost set a while ago, like back when Rebels first came out, but then they discontinued it after a while. And I always wanted that one, and now that they're bringing back that set, but like it's an updated version of the set, and it's got like the Phantom 2. It's got the new version of the Phantom, the little ship, and it comes with figures of I'm looking at the page right now because I'm
me too
hyped.
Does it have Jason Syndulla? Does it have Jason Syndulla?
Actually, there's a little boy. Is that Jason? Hold on.
That's 100%.
Just a little green dude, a little green humanoid.
I can't. Well, hold on. I'm trying to. The website is not cooperating, and I can't see the image. But there's a child, and I think it's probably Jason, and also Chopper's in it, which is great.
That's all that really matters.
Yeah. So it's one of those things where like, it's $160, which is a lot, but also I think I might like try and set aside the money and for this, because I don't want to miss another opportunity to get the Ghost as a Lego set, because I love I love the design of the Ghost, and B, Rebels is like probably my favorite Star Wars thing.
Yeah.
And so anyway,
It's very good. That's for sure.
I might get it because Ceberelios is easily in my top 10 favorite characters.
Yeah.
Zeb is great.
Do we know
Zeb?
if we're gonna see Zeb in Ahsoka? Sorry.
Oh, we can't not get him.
I really, really hope we see him. I think that my guess is yes, because I don't think I feel like they probably wouldn't have made an entire CG model of him and for like just that one scene in The Mandalorian.
Yeah.
Like I feel like they were like, let's have him in Ahsoka, but let's introduce him first here. You know?
Yeah.
That's my hope, because I love Zeb, and man, they nailed it. I thought
my
he
gosh.
looks so
It was
good.
perfect.
Oh,
He looks
that's
great.
spot on. Was it the same? They used the same actor to voice him too.
Yes,
Mhm.
yeah. It is still what's it? He's super famous. He's been in everything. He's been in so many anime things, and can't remember his name. Hold on.
Freddie Prinze Jr.
Yeah.
Yeah, Freddie Prinze Jr., voice of Zeb. Steve Bloom.
Steve Bloom. Yeah.
Yeah, Steve Bloom, who is voice of Spike Spiegel in Cowboy Bebop, among many other characters. Yeah. Anyway.
Hey, Jason. What's your
Hey, Sam.
Star Wars what if story?
Oh my gosh! So,
Right, that's how this started. Oh, sorry. Very briefly.
to bring it back.
So
sorry.
I had two things. One was the sequel trilogy being different. Basically, and we talked about that.
That's right.
Yeah.
And the second one was what if Obi-Wan died instead of Qui-Gon?
Oh,
I think
I feel like that would and completely change the course of.
Yeah. How do you think that would change the course? Because
trilogy.
I have my ideas of how that would change the course, but like, how did you? I want to know what you think.
Okay. I think. Well, for one thing, I think that. So I think I've talked about this in the past, but like Dave Filoni has said before that like his interpretation of the Duel of the Fates during Phantom Menace is the idea that they are battling for the fate of Anakin Skywalker at that moment. So basically, like the fact that Qui-Gon dies means that Anakin grows up without a father figure and without the person who needs to be there for him. You know,
Yeah.
and so like the fact that he loses that is one of the things that leads him down the path to ultimately become Darth Vader. So my idea would be that if Qui-Gon doesn't die, that he might not become Vader. And so who knows how the trilogy would play out? Who knows how the rest of the saga would play out in that case? Because like, maybe the Emperor would, maybe Palpatine would still like figure out a way to, maybe we just have a different apprentice. There would be a different Darth Vader or something. I don't know.
And probably
but the other thing
Dooku probably would have like stayed around longer. That's my
probably.
I think.
And then the other thing
especially
is that like, yeah, I was gonna say the other thought was like, because my original thought was just like, what if Qui-Gon survived? But then I thought, what if Obi-Wan died instead? I feel like if Qui-Gon lost his apprentice, that would affect him in some way, right? And so I wonder if that would like, I feel like he's like the best of us in terms of the Jedi, so I feel like he would be able to weather that storm. But there's part of me that wonders like, what if that like, what if that corrupts him in some way? What if that sends Qui-Gon down a path of
like Dooku,
of kind of a little more of like a Dooku path.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Because I imagine Qui-Gon would be. My thought is he would be similarly like he would still be true to like his interpretation of the Jedi way, as he was like how we saw him kind of in Tales of the Jedi, but I think we might get kind of a grittier, more jaded, but still not a Sith Qui-Gon Jinn.
Mm-hmm. And I am no Jedi Qui-Gon Jinn.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. He might have gone the Ahsoka route and left the Order, but still been like
honestly, I could see that.
I
like that. I like that idea. Yeah.
So that was one of mine that I had.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, really?
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I mean,
great minds.
Indeed, and of course, when you brought up Filoni's take on Duel of the Fates, like there's a picture that I have saved on my phone because I love like Filoni's interpretation of, here's what I think this means from, late 90s, and how my creation of Star Wars is going to, play off that. I'm trying to think. I would see Qui-Gon as like a gray Jedi. There's
I can see that.
Yeah.
Just do you want to explain what you mean by gray Jedi? Because a lot of our listeners probably aren't sure what gray Jedi means.
So I am not 100% like fully aware. I know it's kind of like they adhere to some of the Jedi Code, but it's like life is not all black and white. Like there will be times when things blend.
Yeah,
I'm trying to think of an example from like the prequels where it might be gray instead of going black or white.
I think the concept of gray Jedi is something that was in like the what is now Legends material. Like that was an actual concept. And I don't know much about it beyond that, but I do know that like a lot of people look at Ahsoka as kind of being the thing we have in canon that is closest to being a gray Jedi.
Yeah. But she's more light than dark for sure.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah. And I think Dave Filoni would probably say that she is like the closest you can get to a Jedi while not being in the Jedi Order.
Yeah, she is like her own interpretation of what she thinks the Jedi, what she believes the Jedi should stand for.
Yeah,
I think is the idea.
Yeah,
I like it.
That'd be cool. Like that, Jason.
So that's one. I'm just getting my funny idea out of the way.
Yes, let's hear it.
All right. What if Palpatine had a different first name?
Instead of Sheev, it's like
hear me
Tim.
out.
Yeah, it's like Jeff.
Well, I mean, imagine someone in your grade school, and their name is Sheev. Like,
yeah, he's gonna get bullied, and of course he's gonna go to the dark side.
Yeah, well, and then it's like all you want to do is get power. So that's
Oh man.
If
fear leads to anger, anger leads to hate leads to the dark side, and all of it starts with being made fun of as a kid.
Yeah, so what you're saying is, if Palpatine wasn't bullied as a middle schooler, he wouldn't have become the Emperor.
He was probably the last one to get picked for dodgeball.
Yeah,
and the first one,
or like if
first
you
one to get hit.
Yeah, if Sheev didn't fail out of art school or something, like
yeah. Would you go back in time and kill baby Sheev? Or would
tempting. So no,
Baby Sheev, also the name of my new band.
Baby Sheev.
Baby Sheev. I think my other one. I mean, tied to that, what if Jar Jar did not give the absolute power to Palpatine?
We wouldn't have that sad story in whatever that Aftermath novel. Like makes me want to cry.
Him being a clown.
Yeah, him being a homeless clown.
I still can't.
I feel like probably like I do like the idea of like Jar Jar doesn't do it. And so then Palpatine's like, well, I guess I failed. But I think actually what would probably happen is he would just find another
it would happen one way or another. He didn't necessarily need Jar Jar for it to happen.
No.
But like Jar Jar was very convenient. And that's kind of Palpatine's MO, is just like, let me like seduce and connive my way to the easiest possible like path of least resistance to as much power as I can get.
Yeah. My other one is what would happen if Kanan Jarrus did not die?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Because
that's a good question.
I think everyone would
from
love
Star Wars Rebels.
Indeed.
Yes, yeah. I think everyone would love it if Freddie Prinze Jr. made appearance, but he has outwardly spoken like, "No, they killed me off. I'm not coming back for this."
That's something someone who is definitely coming back would say. Come on.
It's like Andrew Garfield trying to convince people he's not in Spider-Man No Way Home.
It really is. Whereas Tobey Maguire just like actively didn't answer any questions. He was just like off the map until like the movie came out.
Yeah, I would love to see a live action Kanan come back in terms of, in like either a flashback in Ahsoka, or even if they just bring him in as like Hera has like a hologram image of him that she like keeps.
Yeah,
like, I feel like that'd be cool to see.
And it definitely like Freddie Prinze Jr. like looks enough like Kanan that it would just be him.
He really
could
does.
be.
Yeah.
He's a handsome boy.
He is. Dashing young man. They're not young anymore, but dashing man. Those are fun.
Than some.
Jason, these are fun. I like these. These are great ideas.
I like cheers, yeah. Sam, what's your take? Do you have some?
I have one. None of them are as like funny or as entertaining as Jason's, but I think it's the most. I can't take credit for this. I saw this on like either TikTok or Twitter or something, and it was like it's like what made me come up with this idea, and I wanted to just kind of share this and like talk this out. What if Obi-Wan left the Jedi Order for Satine?
Oh, they're making babies.
I have an idea of what I think would happen there.
Yeah,
making babies.
My theory. I want to hear yours, Jack, but I want my theory is that if Obi-Wan left the Jedi Order for Satine, that would have given Anakin the space to like, oh, my older brother did it before me. It's okay for me to do it.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Yeah.
And then we have Obi-Wan and Satine like living like out in public, like being a thing. And then like Anakin come forward like, oh yeah, by the way, I'm married to Padme. Yeah. And then like
there'd be like a little bit of a scandal there, but then people would get over it.
Yeah. And that would have been it.
Yeah.
It's like, oh, this, because like if Anakin and Obi-Wan both do it, it's like, oh, this is what the Jedi are doing now. Because they're like two. Because they're two of the most like easily recognizable Jedi in the galaxy. Like we see that in like in the Clone Wars and the books, like
heroes of the Clone War. Yeah,
they're war heroes who like, oh, they have wives now. Like most people like don't even realize that like Jedis like take like celibacy vow or whatever. Yeah. Like they renounce all like attachments or whatever. Yeah, like they don't. Most people like don't get that or like realize that or just like think about it at all. It's just kind of like, oh yeah, of course. Like I just never thought about like their families. Like, well, yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. I think there's definitely a world in which that makes sense. Where like, because Obi-Wan's master was Qui-Gon, and Qui-Gon obviously was very much a like, stick to the spirit of the law, not necessarily the rules of it. And if Obi-Wan felt that like, that his calling was to be with Satine, and that felt like right in the Force to him, then it makes sense that that's a choice he could have made. I think maybe, at least my kind of headcanon about why he didn't do that, is that he felt a responsibility to Qui-Gon to like train Anakin right, and he felt this responsibility to Anakin. He didn't want to lead Anakin astray, and like if Obi-Wan didn't have that baggage there, then maybe he would have run away with
almost like he knew that like what we're talking about right now, like if he'd done it, he knew that would have happened. And like he like, I can't set that bad example.
Like, I can't set that bad example
for Anakin, so I have to. Like I wasn't gonna like because he said like, see, if you said the word, I would have done it, but like I wasn't gonna take the first step. So
exactly, yeah. But yeah, I really like that what if. I also just want to see more of. I want to see the fling between Obi-Wan and Satine. I want to see that story.
There's definitely chemistry. We don't get it in Clone Wars, and it's sad that we don't get it in Clone Wars.
There's such a backstory.
Yeah. That's Tales of the Jedi I want to see. Come on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Please, yes.
Yeah.
Honestly, like early years Obi-Wan, like that would be a cool like focus for Tales of the Jedi.
And then also early years Anakin. That would be a great Tales of the Jedi season 2. Would be like, what was Obi-Wan's training with Qui-Gon, and what was Anakin's with Obi-Wan? Like, it would be a great parallel.
I love that.
It'd be so much fun.
That, yeah.
I would love it.
Because we've talked about this podcast before of, like, what we think Tales of the Jedi Season 2 should be. We talked about, like, Kanan or Palpatine or, like, other, like, no, I want Anakin and Obi-Wan. And I think that would be the most fun.
Logical thing to do, yeah. Because, like, last time it was Ahsoka and Dooku, who are two, like, they're two Jedi who are parallels in a lot of ways.
Yeah. Two Jedi who having left Jedi Order for different reasons and like
for very different
like
different reasons, but coming from similar places of frustration in some ways. I think. And I think seeing like Obi-Wan and Anakin kind of focusing on their like their what their training was like and the way that they dealt with the loss of Qui-Gon, and also the way that they both dealt with their kind of romantic flings and their feelings of attachment towards things, and how that like I love that idea. Well, man, this Disney, are you listening?
Yeah,
take our ideas.
Dave Filoni, hello, are you listening to our very important Star Wars podcast? Come on.
Yes, it's very important.
Yeah. Well, no, it's very curious to see how, you know, the training of Obi-Wan on Anakin would have led to the like practice makes perfect episode when Anakin just like pushes I mean, because it's like, what made Anakin want to do that?
Yeah, because clearly, like, that's something he learned. Like, he didn't like.
I learned from you, Dad.
Yeah, I learned it from you. Yeah, because like because Anakin, like, he was dedicated and like he had a big heart and he cared, but like in episode 1 we don't see a lot of him like being like a super disciplined person, right? Like he's not like trying to, because he's a slave. He's like he doesn't give a crap like if things like go on. He probably just like doesn't want to have the crap beat out of him, or doesn't wants to make sure his mom's okay. Like it's like all he cares about. Which like, of course, but so he learned this like discipline and like being super hard on himself, probably from Obi-Wan. So like, where did Obi-Wan learn it from? You know, like
I mean, I feel like the life of a slave could also be one of like learning that you have to work hard from a very young age. I feel like it probably came from that as much as it came from Obi-Wan.
Or maybe
that's my interpretation.
Yeah, or maybe it was since he came into the Jedi Order so late in life compared to like the other younglings, he had to work his tail off to like maybe catch up.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. To prove his worth, basically.
Yeah.
To a Jedi Council that was not fully convinced of his like belonging there.
So he always like was used to having to go the extra mile.
Mm-hmm.
And then now the extra mile is just normal for him, and he expects everyone to go the extra mile.
Yeah. Or at least he expects the people that he wants his Padawan to go the extra mile, because that's how he believes is the best way to do it.
And also, like, if this Jedi is going to have, like, going to be like, oh, you're Anakin's Padawan, like, you better, like, live up to Anakin's expectations. And, like, man, generational trauma. Generational burdens and trauma. Is what all the Jedi go to therapy. Let's go.
Yes, all the Jedi need therapy.
You know, that would have solved a lot of issues.
Yeah. Oh man. Y'all, we could go on for like forever and a half about what this was a lot of fun. Thank you guys for indulging me.
Will.
Yeah, we will. We will. Thank you for indulging me on my Star Wars What If.
No, that was a cool idea. I enjoyed that.
Yeah.
Honestly, I feel like that's a rich enough question that we could come back to that again.
That has unlimited content in and of itself.
True.
More unlimited than most, you might say.
Yeah.
Unlimitedist.
Yes.
The mostedest.
All right, boys. Should we, do we have any unfinished business from last episode, or can we just jump right in to this week's conversation of...
Yeah, I think we're good. I think it's time to move on to our main segment.
To what arc? What are we talking about, Jack? What's going on?
Sam, this week we were talking about the Dooku Captured arc. We're talking about the Clone Wars Season 1 episodes 11 and 12. Dooku Captured and the Gungan General.
Baby. Which
I'm very excited to talk about this, because not only do we get some really cool Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Dooku working together action, but also we get an introduction to one of the fan favorite characters of the Clone Wars and Rebels, Hondo Ohnaka, pirate extraordinaire.
Hondo Ohnaka.
Incredible.
We love Hondo.
Yeah. Sam, where does it take place in the timeline? I'm willing to guess, but I want to hear it from you.
Dude, it takes place 21 BBY. This is our first arc
Indeed.
fully in 21 BBY. No more 22 BBY. 21.
Yeah. I was
BBY.
I was looking at the spreadsheet, looking at like the years when this takes place, and I was like, wait, why did it take place in 2021 BBY?
This all is 22. What's going on?
I was like, did we go back in time? And then I realized, oh wait, no, it's like a BC thing. It goes backwards. That's how it works. I knew that. Anyway.
I love it. All right, yeah. So there are 2 episodes. Jack Ford, you want to read the all the fun stuff for the first one, and then I'll do the second one unless Jason wants to do the second one. I'm happy.
I can. Yeah.
Do you want to, Jason?
Okay.
I get to do it all the time.
Yeah.
You don't get to do it all the time. You take the second one. Jack, take us away.
Okay, cool. All right, Dooku captured. The moral of this episode is the winding path to peace is always a worthy one, regardless of how many turns it takes.
Ooh.
Which I feel like is a moral that could apply to pretty much any episode of the Clone Wars. But
Yes.
you know what?
Especially ones where Anakin's involved. That's for sure.
Yeah. All right. Here we go.
An impenetrable
Dooku
defense.
captured. An impenetrable defense. Manhunt. After a long and perilous search, the Jedi finally tracked down Separatist leader Count Dooku. During a heroic attempt to capture the Count, Anakin Skywalker has gone missing. Having lost contact with Skywalker, Obi-Wan Kenobi heads towards his friend's last lone location, a lone Separatist frigate in the far reaches of the Outer Rim.
I love this episode because we kind of just jump into the middle of a story. It's already happened. Like, Anakin has like infiltrated himself into a Separatist frigate, but like, you come into this episode not knowing that. You find out about like 90 seconds into the episode that that's what's happened.
Yeah.
But like, you don't know that going in. And so like, I like was click play on the episode. It was like, did I miss something? Like,
I was the same way.
Yeah, like, did anything get captured in the last
Yeah.
episode and I just like missed it? Like, is this the second episode of the arc? Like, what's going on? But no, it's just that.
I said mise en scène. I meant in media res. I was incorrect. So anyway,
Wait, what?
You were like, yeah, it starts in the middle of the thing. And I was like, yeah, mise en scène. And no, that's not what that is. I meant in media res. In media res means it starts in the middle of the action, like in the middle of the story.
I learned.
Mise en scène is something different. So,
What is it? I don't know either of these.
mise en scène is like
now I'm curious what that is.
Mise en scène is like vibes. It's like the general look and feel and tone of a I come from film school, so that's my understanding of it. It's like the mise en scène of a scene is like the combination of the sets and the lighting and the props and everything to kind of create a space and a tone. Yeah, I'm gonna Google it real quick just to make sure I'm not like totally incorrect here.
I bet you're 100% incorrect. There's no way that's right. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, mise en scène, the arrangement of scenery and stage properties in a play, the setting or surroundings of an event or action.
That sounds like vibes. I buy it.
Yeah, it's basically vibes.
I get it. Yeah.
Mise en scène, according to Wikipedia, is the stage design and arrangement of actors in scenes for a theater or film production, both in the visual arts through storyboarding, visual theme, and cinematography, and in narrative storytelling through direction. The term is also commonly used to refer to single scenes that are representative of a film. Mise en scène has been called film criticism's grand undefined term.
Now, what is mise en scène?
You know what else is grand and undefined? Vibes.
So I feel like vibes was the best one-word definition you could have for that, probably. So I'm proud of that.
Good job, Jack.
Yeah.
Anyway,
what does mise en scène say on Urban Dictionary?
This is Urban Dictionary.
I'll let you read that. I'm scared to read it on the podcast.
What?
Maybe we don't.
You know, we'll skip.
I'm looking it up just, and I'll read it if it's
if it's remotely appropriate. Go for it.
Okay, yeah, it is. So there are two definitions.
Oh no,
the second one is definitely incorrect, but I think it's funny. The first one is the arrangement of props, objects, and decor displayed in a shot/frame. And the example sentence is, Timmy, don't you think that the mise en scène in that shot was rather stupendous? Like, okay, cool. And then the other definition is
doesn't give you any context clues what the word in the sentence means.
No.
And then the other definition is referring to an object that is most likely cool or obscure. And the example sentence is, wow, Becky, that cup is so mise en scène. Which is 100% incorrect. I think it's funny.
Love that. Love. Okay.
All right. Well, before we get into the plot summary, I like just because the opening shot of this episode shows us Obi-Wan in a like 1950s pulpy sci-fi spacesuit. It's got like a fishbowl head and he's got a jetpack on. I like that. Yeah. I feel like this set of episodes
it looks like a spacesuit from like the Twilight Zone. Is what it looks like.
Yeah. It feels very. There's a few different instances in these two episodes of like kind of classic 1950s like pulpy sci-fi aesthetic. Like we get that, and then although like the Weequay pirates, their ships all look like UFOs, like flying saucers.
I have other thoughts about the Weequay pirates that I want to talk about later. But okay. Yes, cool.
Yeah,
great.
All right, let's get started.
Let's do it. All right, so a while before the skirmish at Vancor, Anakin Skywalker allowed himself to be captured by the Munificent class star frigate commanded by Count Dooku in an ice field near Vancor. Once inside the ship's hangar, he put up a fight in order to make his capture look convincing. He was defeated and taken to a prison cell. And all of that right there is what happened before the episode starts.
Yeah.
And so now we're at the actual start of like what we see in the episode. Obi-Wan Kenobi then infiltrates the ship to release him in order to apprehend the Count. Dooku escapes in a solar sailor with the 2 Jedi on his tail in a Sheathipede class transport shuttle. I've never seen that word before. Sheathipede. It's weird. All right.
More like Sheevapede.
Boo. Direct hits on the solar sailor force the Count to make an emergency landing in a wilderness on the nearest planet. When the Jedi suffer a hit from a droid fighter, they are forced to crash land as well. The 2 Jedi...
I want to talk about the kind of... Yeah, again, as Wikipedia's want to do, it does skip over
it glosses over a lot of things.
Some moments. Yeah, so, when Obi-Wan first shows up and finds Anakin in his cell, they have this whole conversation about, like, Anakin complaining about how, like, he hates that he keeps having to intentionally get captured, because it's, like, it's messing with my reputation. It's not like,
then we get, like a Jedi Master joke. Like, kind of like foreshadowing his like...
You're a master at getting caught.
Yeah.
There's a lot of Obi-Wan sassy quips in these episodes.
And a lot of just like, Anakin not going to be a master.
That's... I mean, one thing I have is that... So, there's some real passive-aggressive sass going on between them. But, like, this whole...
That's the whole relationship. It's the best.
But... This whole arc in specific, Anakin is a giant ball of sass. It might I might have just missed out on a couple episodes on Clone Wars, but like I jumped into this one after a while, and I'm like, I don't remember Anakin, having this much of a load on him.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I don't know. I didn't personally get that vibe, but also I don't like, you are coming at this from like, you said there are a few episodes that you're behind on in terms of what we're watching. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
But
this is really our first, like, I feel like true Obi-Wan and Anakin centric episode. Like, really kind of like gets it, like, because we see them kind of interacting a lot, but like it's not like the main crux of the episode going on. Whereas like they are the 2 main characters in the episode this episode.
It's the first time where it feels like this is an Obi-Wan Anakin adventure. Like this is all about them basically.
Because we get a lot of Obi-Wan with the Council and Anakin with Ahsoka, and now I feel like we're like, okay, no, it's just Anakin and Obi-Wan doing their thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Is this the first time since the Clone Wars movie that there's an appearance of Dooku?
No, we see Dooku in like holograms and stuff.
Well,
usually like in like he's chewing Grievous out usually.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if like I don't think it's possible that maybe Anakin and Obi-Wan haven't seen him in person.
Maybe that's
since
what, yeah.
the
Maybe
Clone Wars
I'm
movie.
thinking like
Maybe that's what it is.
Yeah.
because we see a lot of Dooku sending in like Grievous or Ventress, but like we haven't seen like Dooku himself yet.
Mm-hmm.
A whole lot.
Yeah. So they like walk down a hallway and they find Dooku sitting in a room, which felt a little silly to me. Like, you know, like Obi-Wan comes in, breaks Anakin out, and they walk like a block, and then Dooku's just sitting there.
Yeah,
which I thought was a little silly. They show up there. Dooku's meditating. Dooku says something sassy to Obi-Wan.
There's a lot of sass going on.
Dooku is also a sass master in these episodes.
Yeah, if you're looking for Star Wars sass, you've come to the right episode.
Exactly. Yeah. Unlimited sass. And then Dooku's like, bye, and then there's a trap door beneath him that he just slides down. There's a Wallace and Gromit style slide he goes down.
Yeah.
And then finds his ship and then runs away.
Yeah.
So this is Dooku getting to run away.
It's like Wallace and Gromit
moment.
means Cloud City. It's just like
that's
yeah. It actually, it is very like the moment when Luke like falls down that chute in Cloud City.
That's what I thought of when I watched this episode.
That.
But I thought Wallace and Gromit because that's where my brain is.
Hey, I see you. I respect you. I love you. I like that.
Thank you. I was hoping you were gonna end with, but
you're dumb. No.
I see you. I respect you. I love you.
However,
you've got to stop talking about Wallace and Gromit.
It's gone too far.
You've gone too far this time, Count.
All right, you ready?
Yeah,
go.
Do it.
The two Jedi begin to hunt Dooku in a nearby cave. Right. But the Dark Lord of the Sith ambushes them by causing a sudden collapse of the cave ceiling, causing Anakin to lose his lightsaber, which Dooku retrieves. This distraction allows Dooku an opportunity to exit and seal the cave with Anakin and Obi-Wan inside. While the Jedi try to find a way out, Dooku comes upon Hondo Ohnaka's pirate gang, salvaging his ship. Hondo Ohnaka! Oh my goodness, it's Hondo! Hondo Ohnaka! Jack, actually no, Jason, who's Hondo Ohnaka?
Hondo Ohnaka. Best.
This is the whole reason you wanted to be in this arc.
I'm not gonna lie.
You looked ahead like, oh, Hondo's coming in like 6 episodes. I want that one.
Yeah. Hondo Ohnaka, best space pirate.
He is the best space pirate. It's a fact.
Yeah. I'm going over his bio.
Oh, don't read his bio. I just want to know why do you love Hondo Ohnaka?
It's the voice. I mean, it's literally. I mean, the voice does it for me. Down the road, I mean, it's like he has a good mentorship with. Why can't I think of the main character of Rebels?
You say he's not Ezra's mentor. What are you talking about?
Not like mentor. Like there's a budding like.
Oh yeah,
there's definitely there's a relationship there.
There's definitely like a buddy cop older brother relationship going on.
Yeah,
it's a buddy cop older brother. Hondo thinks he's Ezra's mentor. Ezra does not think that Hondo is Ezra's mentor.
Well, okay, Darth Maul also thinks he is Ezra's mentor.
Yeah, but Ezra thinks that too for a little bit.
Yeah,
very briefly.
Very briefly.
Anyway, Hondo is a recurring character who we see introduced right now in the Clone Wars, and he shows up for a lot more of the Clone Wars, and also he's a recurring character in Star Wars Rebels. And if you go to Disney World, you also see live action Hondo in animatronics.
Mm-hmm.
But
yes, which is so cool. Yeah,
that's what I hear. So Hondo is he's a fun space pirate.
Fun.
He's a fun space pirate.
Yeah.
This is our introduction. It seemed clear to me in this arc that they were like almost kind of like testing out the character. Like it was clear that they wanted Hondo to be a recurring character, but they were like kind of just seeing like, do we want him to be more treacherous or do we want him to be more silly? And my guess is silly won out because he's a very silly character, but also like
he's definitely like very like cunning and knows what he's talking about, and like he's able to like weasel his way out of a lot of different situations, like with his signature like cleverness, but also just sort of charm and like his ability to charisma, slink out of things.
Like
he's very charismatic. Yeah. He's charismatic and intelligent. And I think that's
a deadly combo.
Yeah.
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 Yeah. But it's also great that like he is a like, you know, he's not a villain really. Like he's a bad guy in that he's a pirate and he's like selfish and works for himself, but also he's like he recognizes like, you know, people being honorable, and he like values that to an extent. Like at the end of the second episode, he's like you know what, I see you guys, you Jedi are all right. I like you. And that relationship kind of continues on once he comes back later on in Clone Wars later.
As you kind of see Hondo kind of like develop throughout the series, he goes from like, because right now he's kind of just more treacherous pirate who happens to be silly, to his character kind of eventually evolves into like if Captain Jack Sparrow was a used car salesman in space. Like
that's a great description.
Yeah.
So I'm reading the like Hondo's Wikipedia page, and because I wanted to look up some stuff about his voice actor, who is Jim Cummings, who is an iconic
great
voice actor. But I want to look up like what are the things he's done. So he's most well known for being the voice of Winnie the Pooh since 1988, and also Tigger since 1990. So he's both of those.
Wow.
He's very good at like imitating a lot of like some classic Disney voices. Yeah. And so he's been the voice actor for those characters. He's also been the voice actor for Pete, the Mickey Mouse villain guy.
Oh,
yeah. And he's also he's Darkwing Duck. And he's also in some recent Looney Tunes stuff. He's been the Tasmanian Devil. So
that's excellent. That's so good.
Yeah, great voice actor. He's been in a bunch of things. And then, just did you want to say something?
Yeah, you looked very excited about something.
I did. No, it was on the podcast with Andy. You guys were talking about House of Mouse, and sorry, and I got like really excited at work when I was listening to it, and I'm like, I gotta go back and re-listen to the theme song. Let me think. Sorry, back to Jim Cummings. He voiced Ultra Lord from Jimmy Neutron.
Nice. Ultra Lord, the fictional character that Sheen is obsessed with.
Yes.
Right?
Yes, that one.
Yeah. Like he's like a superhero or something. Yeah, that's great.
It's I'm trying to think of another one. He was Razul from Aladdin.
Wait, was that
who? Sorry,
was that the salesman at the beginning of the movie?
No, that the salesman at the beginning of the movie is Robin Williams.
That's Robin Williams.
Right. I remember being a funny dude. I couldn't remember who it was. Who's Razul?
He's like the lead guard of
Oh yeah,
the Sultan. Yeah.
He's chasing him through the streets.
Yeah.
We've got swords. That guy.
That's him.
Yeah.
Cool. He's also I'm looking at his now that we're going down this rabbit hole. I'm also on his Wikipedia page. Yeah, he was the voice of Dr. Robotnik on the original Sonic the Hedgehog animated series.
Way.
Yes. That's exactly who I was looking at.
That's perfect.
He was Cat on Cat Dog.
Yeah,
which is great.
I love this.
Yeah. So anyway, Hondo Ohnaka. Amazing character. I want to briefly look at I was looking at the behind the scenes section about this. And fun fact, Hondo's name is derived from the Japanese film director Ishiro Honda and the actor Seiji Ohnaka, both of whom worked on entries of the Godzilla franchise. So fun fact there.
Cool.
And then Rebels executive producer Dave Filoni stated, Ohnaka did in fact view Obi-Wan Kenobi as his friend, and after the Jedi were all but destroyed by the Empire, the pirate missed the Jedi Order because of the excitement they had brought to his life. He concluded his statement by saying, Ohnaka was a Jedi sympathizer. which I feel like, that's
I like that.
reasonable. Yeah, I like that. Yeah.
And in this, we see at the end of this arc, like, kind of where that sentiment comes from.
The origin of that,
Yeah.
He sees the Jedi as like, oh, you're actually like kind of cool and honorable. Like I'm an asshole and I did asshole things to you, but you're still like,
but
I have no quarrel with you.
Yeah, he might be like not like he might be a sleaze, but he at least like knows respectability when he sees it.
Yeah, he's a sleaze with a code.
Yeah,
which
the code is more guidelines. See, Jack Sparrow.
I love the. Yeah, exactly. I love the quote the Wikipedia put at the top of Hondo Ohnaka's page. It's, "Oh, the stories I could tell, so many of them true," which is exactly his character.
Yes,
anyway, we should probably move on and get to the rest of this.
What? Yeah, we still have 2 episodes to go. All right, cool. Anyway, so outnumbered and stranded, the Count considers his options. He's outnumbered and stranded by Hondo Ohnaka's pirate gang. The Count considers his options and chooses to accompany the pirate gang on their ship off the planet. Upon arrival, Dooku discovers that both lightsabers have been removed from his belt, both his personal lightsaber and Anakin's lightsaber. The pirates take him prisoner, hoping to get a ransom from either the Separatists or the Republic. They're just kind of going for the highest bidder. So meanwhile, the Jedi inadvertently disturb the mother of all Gundarks in a cave that they're trying to find their out. So when I was watching this, Gundark, is that the same name of like the monster from Force Awakens?
What are you thinking of? What monster? Like
in the where we first see Han Solo in Force Awakens.
I don't think so. I think that's a different thing.
Okay, but I've heard Gundarks before, and I thought I heard it there.
Yeah, so I'm looking on the Gundark Wikipedia page, and there's a moment where the quote at the top is, "You look strong enough to pull the ears off a Gundark," which is something that Han Solo said to Luke Skywalker at some point.
Okay.
In The Empire Strikes Back. So that's probably where at least that's where the name of it came from, was probably where it was first mentioned there.
Yeah. Got it. I'm looking.
Yeah, they did not appear in canon until the first season of Star Wars: The Clone Wars. So this is the first time we've actually seen a Gundark. Is this?
Okay. Cool.
Also, the phrase "mother of all Gundarks" sounds like an exclamation of like, "Holy shit!" Like
it does.
Mother of all Gundarks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Although it does say that there were Gundark bones were in Force Awakens. Says appearances. So it says Force Awakens bones only in parentheses.
Bones only.
Yeah.
That's such a great clarifier.
Yeah.
Like, only the bones.
Just bones.
Bones only is the name of this episode.
Hey, that works. Like it. All right, cool.
Bones
Mother
only.
of all Gundarks.
We'll see if that's actually the name of
that we will. All right, so
only you know, listener.
Yeah, only you know, having clicked on this and already know what it's called. All right, so finding the Gundark leads them to conclude they are on Vancor, which they're like, oh, we only see Gundarks in Vancor. I was like, well, guess we're on Vancor. All right, cool. So after rendering the Gundark unconscious, they nearly succumb to poison gas released from a trapped pocket in the cave, just as Ahsoka Tano and a detachment of clone troopers uncover the cave entrance. After Supreme Chancellor Palpatine, and representatives receive a message from Hondo Ohnaka concerning a reward for the capture of Count Dooku, at the suggestion of Senator Padme Amidala, the Jedi High Council assigns Anakin and Obi-Wan to meet with the pirates to verify that they do indeed have the Count in custody, agreeing to the condition that they must arrive unharmed. Upon arriving in the twilight, the Jedi are met at gunpoint and escorted to Hondo, who arranges a meeting with their prisoner. After Anakin and Obi-Wan enter Dooku's cell and subtly mock his current imprisonment, Dooku relishes in the thought that the Jedi would soon join him in captivity. The Count warns that the Weequay are devious and deceitful, and most importantly, stupid, and that the Jedi underestimated them at their own peril. Upon leaving Dooku's cell, the Jedi are invited to attend a banquet in the pirate gang's Grand Hall, which the Weequay have no intention of letting the Jedi miss. Informing Mace Windu and Palpatine that Dooku was indeed being securely held by the pirates, Palpatine told them that he was sending Senator Karras and Representative Jar Jar Binks with the ransom in exchange for the Sith Lord. The Jedi take their seat at the banquet and are provided with refreshments, drugged beverages, As Hondo made a toast to a successful transaction, the two Jedi switched their drinks with those of the Weequay and Nikto sitting next to them, returning the toast to an alliance with the powerful pirates and new friends. As the Weequay neighbors pass out from their drugged drinks that were switched on them, Anakin reflects on how drunken pirates were able to capture the Count when the Jedi could not. Obi-Wan tells him not to be too proud to accept the gift that came their way, whereupon Anakin makes a toast to unexpected gifts. The end of episode 1.
Yeah.
That was fun. It was a good episode.
Yeah.
I love this episode.
But I feel like not a ton happens in this episode.
This episode is more setting up dominoes to all fall down in the next episode.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Speaking of falling down, the Anakin and Obi-Wan get crushed by rocks.
They do.
And
Speaking of transitions.
I love that. Speaking of transitions, by the way, this is totally not a reference anybody cares about, but probably you, Sam. But when I saw that moment, the fact that Anakin and Obi-Wan like get crushed by rocks, and that's what is like their downfall for the moment. I couldn't help but think of the line from the Dudley Do-Right movie when he's like, "They've got not fair. They've got rocks.
Oh, got these machine guns."
Yeah. Which is a line that we quote back and forth to each other, but probably nobody else cares about because that's a kind of an obscure, not very well reviewed movie.
No,
but it's such a fun movie.
It's a Brendan Fraser movie, and that line is delivered by none other than Alfred Molina himself.
Alfred Molina as Snidely Whiplash. Yes, I love it.
That movie was one of our favorites of our childhood, like specifically middle school, but like yeah, so good.
That's a good one. That's a good one.
Yeah,
that's a great movie. That scene. So you were thinking Snidely Whiplash. I was thinking the Obi-Wan Kenobi show, the final episode, like the final battle with the rocks.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And like that's what I was thinking. Like, oh, Anakin and Obi-Wan getting buried by rocks. Where have I seen this recently? Oh yeah, the Obi-Wan Kenobi show.
Yeah. So that's a more logical
very
reference.
Different vibes.
Yeah. Also, it's funny because at that point, Vader has the high ground.
Oh no!
I know that.
Maybe
that's
you'll have
like,
to come back for the Obi-Wan series when we talk about that.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm free 2 years from now.
You have nothing else going on. You don't have kids or a job.
No.
Yeah. We're fine.
Also, it's just funny how like Anakin's like first quip to Obi-Wan is like, did I really have to go in without a lightsaber? And then of course it's like in the episode he loses his lightsaber.
And Obi-Wan's lightsaber craps out. Like the same. That like he's like, I don't have a lightsaber. He's like, oh, you'll be fine. And Obi-Wan whips out his. Is like it just doesn't turn on. He's like, oh, whoops.
Yeah.
And then like inexplicably works in the next episode, but we don't need to talk about that. That was a continuity error.
I'm sure they fix it in between.
Nope, impossible. Couldn't be done.
Nope.
Yeah.
There's also this is kind of obvious, but I feel like it's worth pointing out the whole like when they find Dooku captured, he's in the same like sort of containment field, like imprisonment situation that Obi-Wan was in during Attack of the Clones.
Yeah.
They were in reversed positions, you know. That was a cool callback. There's also a moment at the beginning when like Obi-Wan's going through the prison cells and he like opens one and it's got some like Weequay in it, and he's like. He says, "You're not the prisoners I'm looking for," which is these aren't the droids you're looking for.
It was,
you know?
Yeah.
Did get that. Yeah. Oh, I forgot to tell you about what I thought when I first saw it, the Weequay, and they're like flying saucer looking spaceships. My brain was on Star Trek when I saw it, and it looked like the main flying saucer portion of like the Enterprise. You know, that kind of detaches a little bit and has like a I thought it was like a direct homage to that, and then the Weequay look like Cardassians from Star Trek. Do you remember those, Jack?
Okay, I can kind of see that. Yeah.
Oh, I thought you meant like the Kardashians, and I'm like,
no. They look. Whoa. Yes, we're keeping up with these Weequay.
We're keeping up with the Weequay. Yes. No, that's funny. Yeah. No, they look like a species of alien from Star Trek called the Cardassians.
Yeah. I googled it to refresh my memory, and yeah, they do look similar.
Yeah.
They've got similar sort of like ridges on the face.
Yeah,
and
kind of like a stony looking face. Yeah, like very like, I don't know.
I can see that.
Yeah.
Also, when you said like the Enterprise thing, I also there was like a moment when like the big saucer didn't remind me of the Enterprise, but then like there's a moment when they arrive. One of their saucers arrives at the planet, and then a smaller saucer comes out of it and like shuttles down to the ground. And that one reminded me of the Enterprise because it's like a saucer but with a thing underneath it.
Yep.
And I was that gives
that's
me
where
Enterprise vibes.
because like at first this just looks like a flying saucer from like a 50s sci-fi movie, like Close Encounters flying saucer kind of thing.
Yeah, like Day the Earth Stood Still or something.
Yeah. But then like the smaller little baby ship looks more like the Enterprise, and that's really where it kind of thought. But then like it just infiltrates.
It's a little Starfleet. yeah, little ship.
Yep. But yeah, so that's what I thought of, and then
actually the little ship that Anakin and Obi-Wan like steal when they like leave Dooku's ship.
Yeah,
that little one that reminds me of like the Enterprise like little shuttles that they use in Star Trek, like in the Next Generation.
Yeah, it does.
So they're kind of like a similar size and shape.
Yeah, very boxy, kind of look like Chevy Astravans, but like not.
Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. Sweet. That was a good first episode. Jason, do you want to take us away with our moral and your best Admiral Wolffield Arn impression? I put the link in the
chat. Yeah.
In the Discord chat.
You saw it.
Click on it. So you on the thing. So you'll have the moral is up at the top under the title.
I've got to put up.
Yeah, and then the blue box is the Admiral Yularen thing.
All right.
So I'll let you take it away.
This is episode 12, the Gungan General, also in 21 BBY.
Thank you.
Just like the one right before it.
Dude,
yes, thank you.
I was slacking. I appreciate you.
Come on, Sam.
I know.
Can't let our guest pick up your slack.
You know what?
The heck?
Jason is our first super fan, so like it makes sense that he's the one.
It's true.
Yeah.
Yes.
The moral: fail with honor rather than succeed by fraud. Dooku held for ransom. After escaping capture by Jedi Knights Anakin Skywalker and Obi-Wan Kenobi, the villainous Count Dooku fell into the clutches of pirates led by the brigand Hondo Ohnaka. Eager to get into custody of Dooku, the Republic agreed to pay Hondo a hefty sum in exchange for the Sith Lord. But Anakin and Obi-Wan had not counted on the treacherous cunning of Ohnaka and his band.
Excellent.
Yay.
Well done.
Excellent.
And you didn't even have to say an impenetrable defense before doing it. You just jumped right in. Wow, you're better than we are. We have to say impenetrable defense. At least just contractually we have to say it.
We need that crutch, yeah.
We do. Yeah, you just jumped right in. Well done. Well done.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. I also want to say something before we start on this episode, which is that like inexplicably so at the end of the last episode, they they probably drugged our drinks, right? And so they switch them out like at the last second because they're they see through their like obviously they want to they're clever, they get it.
Yeah.
And then at the beginning of this episode they wake up.
It was a very Princess Bride iocane powder kind of situation going on.
Yeah. And then at the beginning of this episode they wake up in a cell and they're like, we were drugged, obviously. And it's like, what happened between like you being cautious and avoiding successfully being avoiding being drugged, and then sometime between the end of last episode and this episode they messed up and I guess got drugged anyway.
It was very silly. It's either like, because Anakin's like, I only took one sip. I was like, so either it was like 200 proof alcohol that was going on there, like it's just like like weapons grade alcohol, or Hondo really is that cunning and did just he knew that like they might switch the drinks to the guys next to him, so he just drugged all four of them. Yeah, that's you know, I feel like that headcanon makes sense to me.
Yeah.
That's probably what it is.
Yeah,
I just felt like it, like from a storytelling perspective, it was very like, oh, that was Okay.
Yeah.
So why did they do that thing at the end? Why did they show them?
Yeah,
like,
no, it's a very Dread Pirate Ohnaka. Both of them were poisoned.
I believe that.
Yeah, he had just developed an immunity to iocane powder. That's all that's going on.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Great. Cool. All right. Anyway, thank you for indulging my Princess Bride references. Anyway, so Anakin and Obi-Wan wake up in the pirate's prison cell, having been drugged the night before, despite their precautions in the previous episode. They also discover that not only is their cellmate Count Dooku, but the three of them are chained together, making escape far more difficult due to mutual and unpleasant antipathy. Meanwhile, like, this is just silly. It's just like they're just like they are tied together, like handcuffed, and also just like handcuff is like chained to the wrist, and then in like from their wrist down to their waist, and then that is like to the next handcuff. So it's like Obi-Wan and Dooku and Anakin. I think Dooku's in the middle, which like makes it all that funnier.
Yeah.
Wait, no, he's on the end. Never mind. It was, I think, Obi-Wan's in the middle.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, it's very silly. Just like watching the three of them be chained together, and
definitely a fun premise.
Yeah,
it is cool to see them throughout this episode, like sort of like forced to work. There's one great line where Dooku's like, "I would strike you both down now if I didn't have to drag your bodies." Like, excellent.
Yeah, it's great. This is a fun episode.
This is a good episode, yeah.
All right, so meanwhile, Jar Jar Binks and Senator Karras fly to the Weequay Pirates' lair with a bounty of spice on board as a ransom for Dooku. They are accompanied by Commander Stone and 5 additional clones. Turk Falso questions Hondo's decision to offer Dooku to the Republic, since he thinks dealing with the Separatists would have been more profitable. Hondo responds by saying that he sometimes wonders why he, Hondo, even bother keep him, Turk, around. If they tried ransoming Dooku off to the Separatists, they would simply have sent a droid army there to wipe them out instead of sending the desired ransom. Unfortunately, Turk disagrees and chooses to go behind Hondo's back and have his men shoot down the shuttle to sack the ransom for himself. The 2 pilots and Karras die in the resulting crash, and Jar Jar subsequently gets unintentional command of the surviving clone crew. This is a weird exchange with like Hondo and his like first mate or whatever.
Yeah. I smell mutiny.
Yeah, it's just like it's a very piratey kind of episode.
Yeah.
Right. There's always mutiny. There's always like
betrayal
and ransoms and whatnot. And, yeah. So it was
whatnot.
Yeah. So it was it's a lot of fun. This thing. And there was this kind of like there was a senator and like a senator, and then also Jar Jar were sent to kind of go down. And then like when Turk, when he shoots down the Republic ship carrying the 2 galactic congressmen, that's when the main, like, there's a senator and then there's the Representative Binks. The senator dies in the crash, and now Jar Jar is the commanding officer of like a troop of clones.
Yeah. One of the clones walks up to like the highest ranking clone. He's like, "So, with the senator dead, does that mean you're in charge now, sir?" And he's like, Actually, Representative Binks is technically the highest ranking. And he's like, "Hi, everybody."
Yeah, and this is also this is the first episode with Jar Jar where it's not Ahmed Best.
Yeah. It is very clearly not.
It's very clearly a bad Jar Jar impression.
It's Phil Lamar. Like I could.
Who's Phil Lamar?
Do you know? Phil Lamar is also a very well-known voice actor. That's been in a million things.
Got it.
Let me check to see like who plays him in this episode.
Like, I'm sure he's a great dude, but his Jar Jar impression sucks.
Yeah,
it's rough.
I mean, the antics, like, it was very clearly written for Jar Jar, and like it's a very well written Jar Jar thing. But just like it was, the voicing was distracting.
I get that.
You know.
Give me 1 second.
Yeah.
Let's figure this out. Okay, so yeah. So on the page for Jar Jar, it says, Ahmed Best also voiced the character for some episodes of Star Wars The Clone Wars, although B.J. Hughes is credited for a few episodes. Best claimed in early 2020 that this was in fact Phil Lamar, who confirmed it at the end of the year during an Avatar: Last Airbender rewatch panel where he talked about the roles he took over in the Clone Wars series. So yeah, it's BJ Hughes, but BJ Hughes is Phil Lamar.
So BJ Hughes is Phil Lamar's like a pseudonym.
Yeah, I guess so. Maybe it's his Alan Smithy. He's like, I don't know. Do you know what that is?
No, I don't know what that is.
Okay, so Alan Smithy is for a long time, if there was ever a film or a television show that like somebody directed and then they didn't like how it turned out and they wanted to disavow it, they would instead have to be credited as Alan Smithy. And so Alan Smithy is like I don't want my name associated with this director name. And I think it's you're no longer allowed to do that anymore. Like the Directors Guild of America is like, or something is like, no, you gotta put your name on it. Yeah, but for a long time, if you ever see anything that says directed by Alan Smithy, it's like it's probably a bad thing.
That's so funny.
Yeah. So real quick, Phil Lamar. Let's see. He was in Pulp Fiction for one thing.
Really?
Yeah. He was also the voice of John.
Who was in Pulp Fiction?
Let me see. Oh, he's also the voice of Kit Fisto, by the way. So, right, I'm going to Phil Lamar's Wikipedia page. He played Marvin in Pulp Fiction.
Marvin.
Is that the guy that they kill in the car? That they shoot in the car?
I think
maybe.
So.
I haven't actually seen Pulp Fiction, so I only know like certain scenes.
Yeah. I watched Pulp Fiction once. I liked it. It's not a rewatchable movie. It's like I watched it and I don't want to watch it again.
Time.
It's a really good movie, but like I don't want to watch it again.
Sure.
You know?
Okay. Yeah. So Phil Lamar, he is also known for voicing Jon Stewart, aka the Green Lantern, in the Justice League animated series.
Oh, okay.
He's Hermes Conrad in Futurama.
Nice.
He's the voice of Samurai Jack and of Static Shock.
Nice. Okay.
He's the voice of Wilt in Foster's Home for Imaginary Friends, who's the tall basketball player.
Yes, named after Wilt
Imaginary
Chamberlain.
Friend. Exactly. Yeah. He's also been in a bunch of different things. It says he's been in Metal Gear, Jack and Daxter, Darksiders, Final Fantasy, Infamous, Dead Island, Kingdom Hearts, and Mortal Kombat. Who's he in Kingdom Hearts?
That's the important one.
Yeah, that one.
Hold on. Video games.
Yen Sid? No, it's always Yen Sid.
I don't think so. I mean, maybe. But I don't think
Yen Sid was Christopher Lee, wasn't it?
It might have been. It sounds like
Christopher Lee.
It's very. Yeah.
That was
Dooku. Now I could look that up too. Hold on. Let's see. Oh, interesting. So he was in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, which is the 3DS game. He voiced Phoebus from Hunchback of Notre Dame. Who is
that one of the gargoyles?
I think he's one of like the statues.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Cool.
I think so.
I didn't realize there's a Hunchback world in Kingdom Hearts.
Yeah, it's okay.
I only played like the two mainline ones and then Chain of Memories.
Yeah, Dream Drop Distance is a good game. Its worlds are kind of middling.
Yeah.
But like it's a decent game. Anyway, yeah, Phil Lamar been in a bunch of different things. He's also like
he's done a lot of great things. This is not one of them.
He's done a lot of great things, and he's also like done a lot of like taking over for other voice roles. He's good at doing impressions generally. So if they need somebody to like. Yeah. Yeah. Phil Lamar, you're amazing at everything except maybe Jar Jar. Yeah. Sorry.
Oh, sorry.
He was.
Which maybe he knows that because he credited himself as.
Yeah, which is why he didn't put his actual name on it.
Yeah. Anyway.
He was Earth King. The Earth King in Avatar: Last Airbender.
Oh. Cool.
Okay. Cool.
Yeah.
Great. Cool.
Yen Sid is voiced by Corey Greg Burton.
Oh, who's that?
So there you go.
Tim Burton.
Close.
Yeah. American voice actor. He's the current voice of Captain Hook, Ludwig von Drake, and others for the Walt Disney Company.
Nice.
So, yeah, another very, I'm sure, prolific voice actor.
Yeah.
So
sounds like predominantly for House of Mouse.
he's a House of Mouse, player.
Yeah.
That's what he
Love it. All right, so Jar Jar unintentionally gets command of the surviving clone crew. With no choice but to work together, the two Jedi and the Sith try to escape the hangar, but are caught and re-incarcerated after being spotted by Pilf. Obi-Wan, it's a weird name, but that's his name.
Pilf.
Pilf.
Yeah.
Damn it, Pilf. All right, so Obi-Wan then uses a mind trick to compel the guard to let them out for a second escape attempt. Unfortunately, while trying to pole vault over the base's outer wall, Dooku's chain is shot. Obi-Wan grabs him, and Anakin is forced to lift up all three men, much to his frustration. They are recaptured by Hondo while still hanging from the wall. Turk leads his band to hunt the survivors of the Republic delegation near the acid geysers. After a brief skirmish, Jar Jar has the clones jump into a geyser, making the Weequays decide to let the acid kill them. Jar Jar is extremely confident as the local fauna's behavior determines when a geyser is about to erupt, which ultimately saves the group's lives. Basically what happened in this, he sees a bunch of I don't know,
weird elephant
things. They kind of look like blurgs, but like with like elephant trunk kind of things.
They do look blurgy.
They're like blurgs from Mandalorian. But yeah, so he basically sees like they scurry away right before the geyser erupts. So like we'll just scurry away with them when the geyser, and then they're fine. So it was actually
honestly
really smart.
It was a smart Jar Jar moment. Yeah,
Jar Jar does have his smart moments. That's for sure.
Mm-hmm.
We've actually seen more smart Jar Jar moments than not smart Jar Jar moments, but we
at this point,
so far anyway, but we'll have to reconsider that whenever it's time for episode 3. Anyway, where was I? Great, got it. Returning to the wreckage of the shuttle, they find that the spice ransom is gone. Though the clones recommend waiting for reinforcements, an impatient Jar Jar plans to go after the pirates, riding the Scalders to catch up. Scalders is the name of the animal.
The weird elephant things.
The weird elephant things. Scalders. They intercept and defeat the pirates, and with the spice back in hand, they follow a series of power supply lines straight to the pirate base. Does anyone want to explain to our lovely audience how they defeat the pirates and what brilliant idea Jar Jar has to defeat the pirates? Because Wikipedia doesn't tell you about it.
I love this sequence. This whole sequence, like, to me, is another, like, I'm more and more convinced by this headcanon idea of Jar Jar is actually force sensitive. It manifests in a different way than most people. It manifests through his kind of clumsy personality, because like basically like these tanks pull up with some of the pirates on it, and the clones are like, we can't face them, what are we gonna do? And Jar Jar's like, I'm just gonna go talk to them. and one of the clones is like, wait, don't do that. But then like the clone captain is like, no, hold on, he's smarter than he looks, he knows what he's doing. And so Jar Jar walks out there and starts talking, and he's like, hey, I'm here to get Dooku and whatnot. And they're like, you know what, we're actually just gonna shoot you. And and then through some series of events and Jar Jar being clumsy, he like ends up on top of one of the tanks, trips over something, and ends up accidentally like aiming one of the tanks towards one of the other tanks and blowing everything up, and basically doing some very like skilled things that look like luck and clumsiness. But like again, to me, like it feels very much like drunken master style.
Yes.
Like
yes.
like this is even if Jar Jar's not intentionally doing it, I feel like I really like the headcanon of he's force sensitive, and that's why he's so good at doing these things like seemingly accidentally. Yeah,
because he definitely he climbs up onto the ship and then trips and goes, oh, oops, and then pushes all the right buttons to turn the tank to face another tank and blow up one tank, and then backs into the other one. Yeah,
it's incredible.
Yeah,
and the clone's like, yep, he knows what he's doing. He's good.
Yeah, it's silly, but it's
silly and
very good
in the right way, in the best way for Jar Jar to be. Yeah.
All right, cool. So they follow the power supply lines that they all blew up. So the power goes out, right? They knock out the power, like the final tank that gets knocked out knocks into the power lines, and the power goes out at the pirate base. So upon his return to the base, Turk.
Yeah. So not only does Jar Jar defeat all those tanks for them, but also he knocks out the power, thereby freeing Anakin and Obi-Wan.
Yeah.
So like,
Yeah.
Oh yeah, because Dooku's cell opens because they're stored in separate places at this point.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. So upon his return to the base, Turk lies to Hondo, saying that the Republic brought an army to free the Jedi, and suggests dispatching tanks to counterattack. Hondo reluctantly agrees, saying that he will deal with the Jedi himself. The tanks depart and are quickly spotted by Jar Jar, who alerts the clones. Commander Stone sends Jar Jar to negotiate, knowing that this is the part we just talked about. Knowing that the gun episode will be useful. Yeah. Yep. So
what they were actually, what we skipped was actually there was a motorbike sequence basically.
Oh yeah,
where,
sorry.
That's what happened before, and then the tank thing happens now.
Yep.
But yeah,
got it. Cool. I was like, didn't we just talk about this? But yeah, no, we skipped a scene in our brains. Anyway, so Hondo becomes increasingly annoyed with the Jedi, particularly Anakin's brash comments. Believing that negotiation has already failed, he tortures Anakin and Obi-Wan with electrical currents, while Dooku remains locked in his cell. As the pirates take him hostage, Jar Jar accidentally rams one tank into another, causing both tanks to collide with the power supply lines and subsequently shutting down the power grid. The Weequays attempt to kill him, only for the clones to hold them at gunpoint. When the power outage hits the base, the Jedi and Dooku separately take the opportunity to escape. Dooku kills Turk and takes off in a ship. Anakin and Obi-Wan retrieve their lightsabers and take Hondo hostage before meeting Jar Jar outside. Obi-Wan tells Anakin to let Hondo go, as they don't have any quarrel with him since Dooku had escaped. Hondo commends the Jedi on their honor, but Obi-Wan reminds him that Dooku is likely to seek revenge on him before the twilight takes off. And the end.
Yay! All right, yeah, that was a fun episode.
It was very fun.
That was a more fun episode than the first one. Like the first one, like I think opened strong with like the whole sequence with Anakin and Obi-Wan on the ship and then chasing Dooku down.
Yeah,
and then I think the stuff in the cave was kind of cool and fun. But like, for the most part, the first episode felt more like set up for the second episode. You know?
Yeah.
And seeing the stuff with Obi-Wan and Anakin and Dooku together, and kind of the quips and the banter, and then like there's a moment when like the first time they're trying to break out of their cell, Dooku's like using the Force to grab a knife from the other side of the room to like open their cell door, and Dooku says something like, "Kenobi, tell your apprentice to like quiet his insolence so that I can concentrate." And Obi-Wan's like, "Anakin, quiet your insolence. The Count needs to concentrate." Very sassy, but it's like, oh, this is great. I love this.
And Anakin's sass right back was like, I think it was something like, "Oh, that's something like you'll never see," or something like that.
Mm. Yeah. Anakin had some good sass moments too. There were some jabs at Dooku being old. Like,
oh yeah,
you know.
Yep. Gosh, this was
that was great.
Yeah, this was such a fun arc.
Yeah. Also, just seeing like Anakin, like two Jedi and a Sith Lord having to work together to try and break out of jail and repeatedly failing was super fun.
That's
and like the moment when they all like pole vault, they try to pole vault over the wall is like, I thought that was a cool, like fun moment. It's like, oh, that's actually impressive. Like 3 Force wielders using one pole to vault over to a wall, and they almost succeed, and then they get captured again.
Yeah.
There's a lot of people like most of the MVP discussion is going to be interesting to me, because like there's a lot of like cool moments, but most of the people in these episodes are pretty incompetent, or like it's just them failing at things.
Yeah.
Like they fail at capturing Dooku, and then Dooku gets captured by the pirates, and then the Jedi and Dooku like can't escape on their own, and like it's just a whole lot of like, you know, things not going according to plan repeatedly.
Yeah.
Jack, I was looking on the page, and I found an answer to how they got captured. So at the beginning of the episode, we see Obi-Wan and Anakin waking up after being drugged from the drinks. However, the previous episode they switched them. The show originally had webcomics posted on the official Star Wars website, which tied in to these episodes.
Wait, really?
And this, yeah.
Apparently.
This was the story that required you to read the comics to understand how Anakin and Obi-Wan were captured by the pirates. Pilf gassed the entire room.
Pilf!
What?
Pilf. Like...
Yeah.
Oh.
That's cool. That's cool that there actually is an explanation for it. That's cool.
Yeah.
That makes me feel a little bit better about it.
I like my...
It does feel a little weird that they told it in a webcomic.
I like my iocane powder example better, but... But I do like that there is a canonical explanation.
Yeah.
Although this podcast only covers all of film and TV in chronological order. It does not cover webcomics.
It does not. No.
So, as far as I'm concerned, iocane powder is
You are
just
still
as
right.
valid.
You are still right.
Yeah. That is cool, though.
No, that is cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
Fun fact. Well, neat.
Yeah. Jason, did you have a favorite moment from this whole arc?
From the whole arc, wow. I particularly loved the Obi-Wan and Anakin sass at the beginning when Anakin, got captured. I did air quotes because that was all a shenanigan of sorts.
Oh yeah, it was the plan all along.
It was a shenanigan.
Yeah.
It was a big shenanigan.
Is
but
we talk about not to interrupt you, but we talk about sometimes like Anakin intentionally breaking intentionally committing war crimes, becoming a prisoner on purpose. Is this an Anakin war crime? Is that what's happening here?
I think so.
I don't know.
Pretending to be a prisoner, is that? Or no, fake surrender is a war crime.
Right, and Obi-Wan does that.
Obi-Wan does it.
In the Clone Wars
Obi-Wan's already done that. Anakin will do that soon.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't think. Never mind.
Yeah. Does intentionally getting yourself captured count as fake surrender?
That's a good question.
I mean, because I feel like it doesn't, because he was actually captured and did actually have to be saved by Obi-Wan. It was just a way for him to get onto the ship more easily.
Yeah,
I guess.
I feel like that's more breaking and entering than war crime.
Yeah.
Anyway, Jason, I'm sorry I interrupted you. I just wanted to make sure that
you're good.
Get undiscussed.
No, that's an important thing. I like that moment, but I think if I had to go from the overall arc, I just enjoyed Hondo's cunningness.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he knew to kind of leverage, both Sith and Jedis.
Yeah, he knew how to mitigate risk and take the right risks in order to get what he wanted. Yeah. It didn't ultimately work out the way he wanted it to.
No,
but honestly, he had a good plan for what it was worth.
It's good that he's good at playing both sides to get the most advantageous deal for himself.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And
he's not dumb.
He's not dumb. No.
Yeah.
And then this is what caught me. I guess especially just because Obi-Wan, Book of Boba Fett is still kind of fresh. The talk of spice, that's what he wanted, and I'm like, I didn't realize how impactful the spice trade game was.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I know down the road that's gonna be a huge plot. I think it's season 6 or 7.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe 6.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Spice is huge. Just kind of in the Star Wars universe, it's not actively explored all the time, but it's just spice. For our listeners who aren't aware, is basically just like drugs in Star Wars.
It's not like paprika, Sam?
No.
It's not like...
Yeah.
No.
Not chili
not,
powder?
It's
more
not
like
my
garlic.
favorite. No, I thought it was more like Tony Chachere's Cajun seasoning, which is my favorite thing to put on too many things.
Delicious.
We love it. Anyway, it's no, spice is drugs. Spice is drugs. And it's
Don't do spice,
it's actually directly stolen from Dune. Because Dune was all about spice, and like they literally called it
Let the spice flow. Yeah. Yes, I guess that is a direct
it's
Dune
directly
reference, isn't it?
from Dune. And like George Lucas will tell you that too. It's like, yeah, that's Dune.
Oh yeah, sure.
Yeah.
No, George Lucas is not like he's open about all the things he steals from.
Yeah, he's like
stealing in the right. He steals like an artist. As it were,
he'll just call it an homage, and it's not stealing. It's like
I mean, but honestly, like there's that Picasso quote, like, "Good artists borrow, great artists steal."
Yeah,
so
spice. That's spice. Yeah, and like I think our first like time we ever hear about spice in Star Wars, like at least in like release order, is like when we hear about like the spice mines of Kessel. We hear about that in the original trilogy, and like when Han Solo talks about like the Kessel Run, he was running spice. Like Han Solo was like he was smuggling spice.
Yeah, and then the movie Solo like covers that event, and we see like a spice mine and stuff too in Solo.
Yeah.
So
yeah, spice is big in Star Wars. But yeah.
Indeed. Delicious spice.
Spice.
Like, I know it's drugs, but every time they say spice, I just think of like, this probably smells good. Like,
like pumpkin spice, right?
That's
some Star Wars PSLs, some blue pipe and spice lattes.
Oh gosh.
Sam, did you have a favorite moment from this episode?
Honestly, other than like the sass, like the so much sass, like Jason said, like the sass in the first episode. My favorite was like when Dooku and Obi-Wan and Anakin are all captured together, and just like the constant jabs going on.
Yes.
That was so much fun. And then like the kind of like final scene with Hondo is like, you guys aren't that bad after all, kind of like It was very like 80s action movie, like I respect you, man, kind of like
game recognized game,
that kind of thing. It was it was just a lot of great character work in these episodes, and just a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like I love this is just so much fun. So that's probably my two favorite thingies. Jack. Oh, sorry, Jason. Were you gonna say something?
Oh no, sorry. I was just gonna say, like, I feel like that trope of Dooku and Anakin and Obi-Wan are really that combo of a Sith and Jedi could be like, they could have used that again later on in Clone Wars, set up something totally different, and it would still be a good episode.
Yeah, it's a great pairing there. Yeah, the three of them. Honestly, I would love to get like a sitcom where the three of them have to share an apartment.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking too. I'm like, dang, if they just make a sitcom, like, I can't even think of what it would be.
Just thinly veiled hatred and
It's like the first thing that came to mind was like it's JD Turk and Dr. Cox. Like that's what we have going on.
Of course, Sam goes Scrubs.
Yeah,
is his to me it gives almost like Bert and Ernie vibes. Like Dooku's the grumpy one. Anyway, so my favorite moment was I was going to say the same thing about the ending scene with Hondo and the Jedi, and like there are a couple things I like about that. One is that like Obi-Wan and Anakin, despite being literally tortured, like they were like shocked and kept in prison the whole time. They still walking away from it were like, at least Obi-Wan was like, we have no quarrel with you, like you know what, we're done here, and I'm out of here, and like whatever. Like I don't. they don't indulge in vengeance,
right?
You know,
if it was just Anakin, like that place would have been burned to the ground.
That's a whole.
Oh yeah. No, Anakin. If it was Anakin by himself, it would have been a different story. But yeah, I like the fact that we get like, you know, Obi-Wan's chill about it. He's like, yeah, we have no quarrel with you. We don't indulge in vengeance. He's like, yeah, but Dooku, meanwhile, he knows where you live. So, but then just that moment of Hondo recognizing like, oh, Jedi are kind of cool, actually. Like, you know, we're very different, and we have different goals and different methods of doing things, but I respect your methods and your principles and the fact that you stick to them, you know?
Yeah.
I think Hondo has a respect for people with principles, even if he himself doesn't necessarily like his principles are much more selfish, but he like respects the sort of the code that the Jedi follow, I think.
Yeah, for sure.
And I like that moment, because I feel like that's the first moment where we get like you said, that does sort of establish the relationship between Hondo and the Jedi going forward, which is that like he, you know, it's less like straight antagonistic and more like, you know, we might like quarrel sometimes, we might get into conflict, but ultimately like I respect you. And he's in a very kind of like in that sort of jovial, like fun loving way that Hondo has about him. Yeah. You know, it's great. And then we get to see more of that in the future with Ezra and in Rebels, which this kind of puts more of an interesting perspective on things, thinking about like, you know, when I read earlier that quote from Dave Filoni about like Hondo being sad when the Jedi were all wiped out, and then suddenly at one point, like 10 years or whatever into the reign of the Empire, he runs into a set of Jedi and he's like, oh, I get to hang out with the Jedi again. Yeah. Like, it's kind of sweet in a way.
It's so fun.
Yeah. MVP. Who's our MVP this time around? Jason, do you have any thoughts?
I feel like it's only one obvious answer. And that would be Hondo Ohnaka.
I mean, that's my thought too. Is like, honestly, the number of times like if you look at all the other characters, they all do cool things, but they also all fail a lot. Like Dooku gets captured multiple times and has to run away and gets recaptured, and Anakin and Obi-Wan, like Anakin loses his lightsaber and Obi-Wan's lightsaber breaks and they lose Dooku and then they get captured multiple times, and then I mean the only person who's like consistently successful in this is Jar Jar. So like I feel like that's the other argument you can make, is like Jar Jar being the MVP, just because he was honestly, weirdly, Jar Jar was the most competent, like most successful,
which is scary. I mean,
which is scary. What world are we living in now?
Yeah, because we had Master Obi-Wan Kenobi, the Chosen One Anakin Skywalker, and the Count of Sereno Dooku, like three of the most powerful people like in the galaxy, and then Jar Jar was the most competent, like even more so than Hondo, like competent.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, but yeah, I feel like I feel like we have to give it to Hondo.
Oh yeah,
if for no other reason than like we love him and like this is our first opportunity to recognize Hondo as being great, but also he does a good job consistently. Like, I mean, other than the fact that he doesn't recognize that his first mate is clearly betraying him.
That's
other than that, like he's, you know, we talk about he's good at planning and he's cunning and he's smart about how he does things. He's like, you don't. Yeah, he says it at one point early on, like, you don't survive this long in the criminal underworld without being smart, basically.
Yeah.
So
no,
Hondo,
I would agree. I would agree that it's Hondo, but for like a slightly different reason.
Okay.
Because Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Dooku are all kind of like, they kind of like form like a trio in this episode. They kind of like act as a unit. But Hondo shines on his own, right?
Exactly.
He does,
yeah. So I think for that reason also, like, Hondo deserves the MVP in this episode.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
So, Hondo.
Yep. Yeah, so Hondo, definitely our MVP. Stats for this episode. We do get 2 kills. Dooku kills 2 weak pirates. So
oops.
That's we get 2 kills for Dooku. I think that's it in terms of
I think so too.
main character kills in these episodes. No lost limbs that I can remember, and I did not hear any Wilhelm screams.
Me either.
Nope.
So yeah. And finally, more Star Wars is better Star Wars. How does this episode make the movies and the rest of Star Wars better?
Hondo.
It's Hondo. It's Hondo, and also I think the sort of the relationship between Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Dooku. I feel like just that whole sequence of like, I feel like, you know, we don't see it very much, but there are a few brief moments in these episodes of like sort of like respect for each other a little bit. Like there's there's a moment when Obi-Wan uses a Jedi mind trick to like get them out of the cell, and Dooku, like, you know, without any sass goes, yes, most impressive, Master Kenobi. Like, he's like, yeah, no, I again, game recognized game.
Yeah.
Like, so we get that out of it.
Yeah.
But yeah, Hondo.
I think also, this is, we mentioned this already, but this is our first real Anakin and Obi-Wan episode. So this is our first kind of view into like an extended view, like, because we get, like, we've gotten glimpses and them kind of sassing each other back and forth. This is our first, like, those are usually just like a couple scenes out of an episode. This is our first like 2-episode arc where it's mostly Anakin and Obi-Wan going back and forth, and like we get to see a glimpse into the relationship, and the relationship really is more like big brother, little brother than master and apprentice, and we kind of like really get to see an insight into their characters, and it sets the tone for a lot of the rest of what we see.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I was gonna say, I mean, I know you're talking about how more Star Wars is always better Star Wars, but less Jar Jar can be better Star Wars, especially in this episode.
I don't know. I'm gonna push back a little bit. I think Jar Jar. Jar Jar was pivotal in this episode.
Oh no! So I guess
I think if it was Ahmed Best, I think you'd probably agree that Jar Jar was really great in this episode. But because it wasn't Ahmed Best, you don't like
voice.
It. Yeah,
it's the voice.
Yeah.
Like action wise, like it's fair. And I mean, in my head, Sam. Ever since the mayor of Cincinnati called out Patrick Mahomes for being, he's like, "Oh, Joe Burrow's your daddy." I'm like, that's such a Jar Jar thing to say. So in my head,
kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. So in my head, that's just, I've just seen the Cincinnati mayor as Jar Jar.
Oops.
And I mean, I guess it's like, I get that Jar Jar in the second episode was just, you know, comedic relief in a sense. But like the voice just, you know, that was over here, and I'm like, that's the Jar Jar I associate with the mayor of Cincinnati.
So
the bad Jar Jar.
Bad Jar Jar.
Bad Jar Jar.
No, I get that. Yeah, the voice is rough.
Yeah,
it's rough
not
in
great.
these episodes.
It's not great. I get that.
Yeah.
Also, I can't relate because we have a good mayor in Kansas City. So
yeah, that is fair.
Yep. All right, fellas, we did it. We did it.
Ooh.
No voicemails this time, but
we do.
What?
We do have a text message though.
True. Yes. We Sam and I got a text message from our dad briefly, like right before this episode recorded. Sam, do you want to read it off?
Sure. So his message says, "Sorry, I'm behind on the podcast. I'm on episode 11, so this is episode 18. So Dad, catch up." Also, we've only released like 3 more past that.
Yeah.
He's only 2 or 3
out
behind.
yet.
He's only 2 or 3 behind.
Yeah.
He's a busy guy too. Anyway, so during this, I had a thought. Like you guys talk about, did Jedis evolve to generals in the war? Jedis are more like Texas Rangers. 1 riot, 1 ranger. So usually it's just like the kind of just the sheriff role in the town. Just one guy kind of clears things. So how did Jedis, who are trained to be self-sufficient solo interventionalists, become generals over large armies? What do we think that was like, guys?
Yeah, I responded a little bit to what he said in our text chain, but basically, the way I thought about it, I was like, yes, first of all, good question. Like I was kind of wondering the same thing.
Oh yeah.
I think that there's a period of time between Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars that we haven't really seen, where like, you know, the Clone Wars movie, or like, you know, the beginning of what we see in the Clone Wars chronologically is obviously it's a ways into the Clone Wars. Like they've already figured out, they've gotten into a rhythm, they've figured out how to be generals and how to command troops, and you know, it's kind of old hat for them at this point. Like they get it. But obviously there must have been some sort of transition period between like, by the way, we have an army now to okay, we're commanding an army now. Like I am curious to see, like, I want to see stories from that era, that like little period of between when the moment the Clone Wars started in Attack of the Clones to like what were those early like weeks and months like when they were trying to get things going, get the ball rolling, get like figure out what are the Jedi's role in this war, and how do they interact with the troops and with the government, and you know, there's a lot of questions there about like how did this come to be. And also I think there's a valid criticism to be made about, like, you know, Jedi are supposed to be keepers of the peace, not soldiers, as Mace Windu says. And you know, I think that's one of the ways in which the Jedi sort of lose their way, is that they choose to take part in this war and to become soldiers fighting other people's battles, rather than like following their hearts and following like what they feels right in the Force, as maybe they more ideally should. Yeah, for sure. If you want to get, like, I know there aren't a lot of stories like in canon that take place during this, but the one that I am aware of, and I've referenced it a handful of times before, and Dad, I think you'd really like this book if you haven't read it already. I listened to an audiobook, and the audiobook's fantastic. Is the novel Brotherhood, which kind of covers the thing on Cato Neimoidia that they reference in episode 3, where that business on Cato Neimoidia doesn't count. Doesn't count. Yeah, it's the business on Cato Neimoidia. But one of the early scenes in the book, if I remember correctly, is our novel introduction to Ahsoka, and Ahsoka being assigned to Anakin, and they talk about how they accelerated the youngling to Padawan process because of the war. And they're like, we need to conscript more child soldiers.
Literally, that's what they did.
Makes the most sense.
Yeah.
Speaking of war crimes,
and it was like, it was Palpatine and Mace Windu, I think, were the ones who were like really pushing for it, which is like the least surprising thing ever.
That's
Thanks, Mace.
Yeah.
Cool.
No, Jack.
And Mace is also the one who said Jedi are supposed to be keepers of the peace, not soldiers, and yet he's like all on board with it. He goes on to
be like the most soldiery Jedi ever.
He drinks the Kool-Aid very quickly.
Yeah. No, Jack, you were saying earlier that like you would have loved to have seen what like the time between Attack of the Clones and the Clone Wars, when they're figuring out how to be generals and like life of the soldiers. And in my head, the first thing that went to my head, first thing that popped in my head was, you know, seeing Pong Krell like in his evolution.
Yeah.
And it's like, I want to see that, but also I don't.
I get that feeling about Pong Krell.
Yeah.
It's a morbid curiosity.
I would definitely be curious. Yeah. That's a morbid curiosity, yeah. I would definitely be curious to kind of see like a younger Pong Krell. Was there a point at which Krell was like, you know, not so much of like a hard ass and so much of and also like a cynic and a sort of like, I've given up on the ideals of the Jedi. Like how early on did that start? You know, that's an interesting character that we could definitely, I would love to see more of. Yeah.
I mean, because we got that with Dooku, thanks to Tales of the Jedi, because we saw like, we saw like when he, you know, gave up the Jedi hood and joined the Sith hood.
Yep.
So, yeah.
The sisterhood. The sisterhood of the traveling pants.
All right, I quit. I can't do it anymore.
Okay.
All right.
This content is no longer unlimited.
All right.
We have found the limit.
Yeah, this content may be unlimited, but our friendship is not.
Oh,
No. Take it back.
I broke our friendship with my bad Sisterhood of the Traveling Pants joke.
Who knew that that's what would do us in?
That was a good one.
That's the final straw.
Oh, man. Dad, thank you for the question. That was great. That was a really good question. Jack, if anyone else wants to ask questions or give feedback or anything else, how do they do that?
Well, if you'd like to join in the discussion, leave a voicemail at 512-850-6653, and we might feature your comments, questions, or corrections on the podcast. And again, that phone number will be in the description of the episode, as always.
Yeah.
Yay!
All right. Well, thank you again very much, Jason, for joining us. It's been so great to have you on the podcast multiple times before and to hear your questions and your feedback. It's great to know we have a consistent listener. It's nice.
Yeah.
But also just to finally have you here, like virtually in person.
Yeah.
But to have you get to act live and get to have you actively participating and get to hang out with you. It's been great.
Yeah.
It's been great getting to see you.
And also, it's just good to see you again, Jason. we text back and forth a lot, but I haven't spoken to you over the phone or anything in a while. So it's good to see your face, hear your voice. You're a good man. Love you, brother.
You too. I had a thought earlier at work, and
That's dangerous.
Alex is getting ordained diaconately in 2 years.
Who is?
Alex.
Oh, Alex, yeah.
Yeah, Alex, yeah.
Alex, my best man, and me and Jason's mutual friend.
Yeah.
For the listeners.
Oh, and my best man.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. He was both of our best men. I forgot about that.
There's been multiple best men.
Yeah.
Mutual
Is
best
he
man.
the godfather to one of your children?
He is not.
I got you there.
Yeah, you got me. I mean, we could do a podcast.
Don't have another kid just to do that.
Then. No.
What? Oh.
No, I was gonna say no.
It'd be fun to have him. He's not a Star Wars guy though.
He's talked a little bit about it. Because I was saying earlier, Zach and Dalton and I, we text each other every day, and Alex, hasn't abandoned us for our D&D group. I don't know. Alex isn't opposed to Star Wars, but he just doesn't
I know he's not opposed to Star Wars, but he does he isn't a huge Star Wars fan. He doesn't watch Marvel stuff. This is just not his thing.
He's a different kind of nerd.
He is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
he's a bookworm. Yeah. Yep. He's a good guy. Alex, why don't you listen to the podcast? Come on. Two of your favorite people here. And also Jack. So, what else do you want?
Yeah.
I'm also here.
Yeah.
Oh, man. Guys, this is a lot of fun, but it's 11 o'clock. And I work tomorrow.
This might be our longest episode so far, which is shocking.
I'm not surprised. I know, Jason. This was not surprising to me.
Never mind.
Thank you all for joining us. Join us next time when we'll be talking about the Clone Wars Season 1, Episodes 13 and 14, Jedi Crash and Defenders of Peace.
Ooh, so fun.
Yes, another pair of episodes next week. And in the meantime, stay safe, stay cool if you're in one of the parts of the country that is blisteringly hot, like Texas is.
Sad.
And may the Force be with you all. Good night.
Good night.
Bye, everybody.
All right, cut the chatter. Roger, Roger.